people of the world. We are unknown. We fight problems every day, although sometimes it is not evident. The unknown is to fight tyrants to justify their ego. Human nature to be a power-driven society, which makes people egotistical, separated, and more so, divided. Our enemies have evolved, and have used tactics to divide and conquer, that which is frequently invoked in Richard taxonomy of the unconscious today. The elite control our derivative brothers and sisters, illustrating the social desirability of cooperation with each other under a known name, anonymous. They have incorporated divide et impera, which is divide and conquer. They are using a set of tactics attacking a specific class based on their radical models. Roughly speaking, is that they of a single actor and expects coordinating problems among a group by making discriminatory offers or discriminatory threats. Political scientists, historians and lawyers, however, sometimes use the term in the economist's sense, sometimes in other senses. In this sense, they destroy what we once lived, what we once would grieve over if we no longer had a unity through the faith that humankind can save this world from the tyranny of governments, the sickness in pedophilia, the social issues that have impaired this world. The ego of the world has oppressed us, enslaved us, and now has separated us. We believe in a united act in this physical entity, an idea of which is powerless by one, and huge by many, under the same pretenses as our anonymous derivatives. Anonymous cannot be what it has been and continue to be the resulting idea. The infighting between physical people who nearly agree on most things can agree on the things they do actually agree on, because of the implementation of divide and conquer. Because it is a physical group now. That's why no one just named it. That is our only prohibition. Our abilities are only limited to the ones we do not in your own ability. Because an idea has only the skill you bring forth to this idea. Any evident plan to shake the world into any enslavement under any circumstance is our battle. That involves an opinion about many issues. Not an idea. Unknown have to exist as a group, feeding the egotistical actions of the human nature, the same nature they use to overpower us as humans. Under those circumstances no one can even apply the idea because no idea can be an idea under physical oppression. Allow yourself this moment of reflection. We are the oppressed. We are the silenced. We are what is still free within you. We are the ones who fight that. We are unknown.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is Truth Out of the Unknown. Now, a couple things I want to go ahead and address right off the bat. Sorry about the background noise, but a couple things I want to address right off the bat. Seems to me that, well, actually, it's been brought to my attention that people are sort of trying to make up stories pertaining who I might be. Obviously, their correlation of me is nowhere accurate. Me, myself personally, I don't, obviously care much, just only simply because of the fact that I am unknown. Okay, I'll make it very, very clear. The ego portion is to be deleted. The only reason for that is because an ego is power over, right? So one who has an ego typically is one who is power over people, in a sense. That is not good, because when we're talking things like activism and when we're doing things like, activism, just to dumb it down and be general about it, when we're doing just basic activism, we're not doing it to build our name and to fill our wallets and to gain recognition for what we are doing. We're doing it simply for the betterment of society. That's the point, right? Let's activate under those terms, okay? Now, there's some people, or let's say people, because that's what they are. They call themselves Anons, okay? They consider themselves a part of the Anonymous Collective, which I don't myself anymore, simply because the Anonymous Collective is so divided based on their ego that they're not really getting much done anymore, in my personal opinion. But some people that used to be dear friends to me apparently are going around in these conversations with people speculating about how I may be a Fed. Well, sorry to be the burden of bad fucking news. It's actually probably good news. I'm not a fucking Fed, okay? I don't care what anybody fucking says, okay? And don't mind my French, but definitely I am not a Fed, okay? Now, this is just with actually claiming I'm a Fed. Like, it's pretty freaking evident if you go and you look at the things that I've been doing with the group of people that I associate with. We're definitely not doing things that Feds do, okay? Let me make that very fucking clear, okay? To you fucking...
Hey, man, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. This lag is bad, man. Hold on, let me close a few things.
No good, ever. I was just kind of spouting off at the mouth about something that just was brought to my attention.
Yeah, look, I know what you're talking about, man. And for me, it's like I don't want to name that name, but I mean, why would that person even care about it? Because he never does anything illegal anyway. So what the fuck are you worrying about? And like you were saying, I mean, there's not a lot of feds that does the UN and deface websites and whatever. And so,
right? Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's such a ridiculous claim, man. I mean, I know the history of the situation then, and at that time it was like like with these pedophiles, you know, do we want to report them or do we, you know, handle our own business? So you were new to the group and you made a suggestion like, okay, so what do we do? But I mean, so how
Yeah,
can
I
anyone
mean,
interpret that as you're being a
what,
fed? I mean, it's the same thing as reporting to Twitter or whatever. I mean, so I made clear that I'm not that way. I mean, a lot of others do,
right,
you
right.
know, and so we never had mentioned the feds after that again. You know, it's not like, yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't want to work with the feds personally, and whatever my intent was, just to make it very clear vocally that, you know, my intent here, we're talking about pedophiles, okay, people who are abusing, okay, these people want to do whatever, have sex with, eat, maybe even kids, you know. Well, if they end up in the feds' hands, then so fucking be it. Okay, I had a group of people who basically tried to contact me by means I won't really touch base on, but they try to contact me, which they did, and they said that they were you know, intertwined with a task force that was basically sort of targeting pedophiles, and they basically all they wanted was Twitter usernames, period. They asked me if I would give it to them so that they could give it to the feds. That's what they told me. I don't know if I 100% believe that's what their intent was, but that's what they told me. Now, have I done it? No. Do I intend to ever work with the feds? Fuck no. Fuck the system, guys. I mean, come on. But we're talking about pedophiles here. I mean, people who want to not just have sex with kids, but they're practicing things like pedocarnivorism. They're, you know, I mean, whatever we could do to them people, I'm definitely for it. Whatever makes their life harder, makes them suffer. I mean, that's the intent, guys. I mean,
well, it's for me, it's mostly hilarious because the person who you know who's bringing this up now was also the one who you know, who didn't mind that kind of stuff, you know, when it came to Roy or, you know, a bunch of other people and like the group you were mentioning then. I mean, I don't see, because they're admittedly directly involved with them. So I don't see those people getting called out. It's really just because someone has a butthurt and is trying to, you know, make cheap shots which hold really, really little yeah, ground or anything. And it's just, but hey, shit, people believe what they want to believe anyway. So fuck it. It's just fuck
it. Exactly. And then that's the thing with the. What I'm about to say is actually sort of a derivative of what Anonymous was commented on. Honestly, it's proven itself that that's not what it is now. But the whole caring about what they're saying about a certain specific name that I may have had once or still sort of use is a part of the ego, which is it's actually an opposite of being unknown or even anonymous for that matter. You know what I mean? To care about the name and what they're saying, you know, is against kind of what we're about. But like, I guess I just wanted to clear the air and rectify the situation so that people knew that I'm a hacktivist. You know, I'm out here trying to do, you know, things to bring light to issues and you know, definitely far from a Fed.
No, I know, man, and I can understand the feeling of you want to explain it or anything, but I mean, just people. I mean, you can't just how do I say it, man? You can't waste all your time on whatever gossip some asshole has now. You know, it's like without evidence. You know, so it's revolving around this one screenshot where you ask someone, okay, so how do you want me to handle this for you guys? You know, it was more like that instead of you know, yeah. So I mean,
Right.
I mean, if you're just how do I say it, man? You can't just waste your time on every single asshole has something to say. I mean, you don't have anything to defend if they don't have any evidence. I mean, people can slander whatever the fuck they want, man. I mean, especially
Right.
the
I mean,
person.
and anybody could doctor up a screenshot, right? I mean, according to Anon Knowledge or AK, I mean, anybody could doctor up a screenshot, right? I mean,
well, wait, it is true, man. I mean, it's I mean, you can just alter the HTML code or just do some photoshopping and everything. But I mean, AK admitted himself, and I mean, for me, it's so ridiculous for that specific claim. You know, if you being a Fed, I mean, I'm working with you the whole time, and it's
right.
So this person who's saying this is like, okay, so why do you care? You never do anything illegal, so who cares?
Right? Yeah.
Plus, the one you're accusing of is doing pretty much nothing but illegal shit. So
right? Yeah.
What? I don't know. Yeah, that's such a terrible attempt of trying to smear someone. It's I mean, that's so it's so stupid. It's so silly, man. If anyone would believe that, then it's so short-sighted.
Right. I mean,
yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and the only reason for the attack at all is simply because of the fact that they're shilling for our not so dear friends over there at Unity4J, and we're not for that. I mean, and they're mad because obviously we know that Julian Assange is as fake as fake boobs on a fucking porno, dude. That dude is the biggest fucking shill I've ever seen. I mean, you think about it. I mean, the guy's facing what in jail? Okay, yeah, some people say 2 years. Yeah. I look into the law. It looks like 30 days. Yeah. I mean, and that's harsh. I mean, that's to think about all the people who are donating money to the guy, right, in his cause, standing for free speech, when the only risk he has is we'll call it 2 years in fucking jail, okay? 2 years in jail for a bail violation, okay? That doesn't silence the guy, okay?
No, when you look at the charge itself, like, what is he charged for? I mean, so I mean, you could bring up the argument of, okay, so they just they'll just use whatever they can to get him. But I mean, when you look at the charge itself, so it was two women. He didn't want to do an AIDS test, which is pretty pretty fucked up as well. But whatever. And so he didn't want to do it. Instead, he fled. So they said they gave him a rape charge or whatever it exactly was. But all that stuff has been dropped, and now it's just for skipping bail. And and meanwhile, you hear these people, this Unity4J crap, like he's kidnapped or he's detained or what? No, he's there in his own free will, running from his responsibility, man, and just hiding behind WikiLeaks because it's like, oh, because I'm leaking WikiLeaks and everything. I mean, so there are other people also leaking stuff like John Young, and he's not caught. And I mean, the charges for Assange have nothing to do with leaking or free speech or whatever. And meanwhile, we have people who get, and I don't like Nazi salutes or whatever. But meanwhile, we have people getting locked up for that shit, and so
right.
What is, all these people have double standards, man. So when I show this meme, that's your show, when I show that,
right,
Unity4J,
the same kind of people that talk about censorship. I mean, you read through itself, right? I mean,
breaking up, man. Could you please repeat?
Sorry.
Your connection is a bit. Look, what I'm also gonna do, if you can, if you put the setting of adjust bandwidth usage, and just do it a lot lower than you. I mean, it's only for the screen for what you see, but it takes a lot less bandwidth, so maybe it'll help. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So I mean, all in all, I mean, bottom line, pertaining Assange and the dude in itself, he's not really, gonna.
He's so shady.
I mean, well, I mean, like, I'm just the screen share. You know, for hacking 25 websites, depending on would be a fine for that.
You're breaking up again, man.
Still,
Jalil, can you also
sorry.
Jalil, can you also adjust your bandwidth, man? It's at the top of the screen. Not sure. Yeah, the screen.
Well, I mean, either way, I mean, for 25 sites, for hacking
including
25
the Pentagon,
sites,
right? Yeah, that's just.
Yeah. He only got what, like, there's only what, like a fine or something stupid. You know, I mean,
yeah, $1,200 or $2,100. I mean, even Mark and you know, and his buddies were like, you know, yeah, that's that's good for the Pentagon, and we're not even talking about just DDoS, but just hacking. I mean, just,
yeah. I mean, and I mean, his leaks are always politically biased too. Obviously, I mean, he suppressed information. You know, and money being transferred from Russia to Syria. You know, back in 2011, he met with Assad. I mean, bottom line, I mean, he definitely is the epitome of what. I mean, the evidence is there showing us that he is working for the elite. I mean.
Yeah, for sure. In my honest opinion, yes, and in my honest opinion, it's also pretty clear as day. I mean, there's plenty of good people. I mean, the latest one is just obviously just Phoenix. You know, James Robinson, and I will keep saying this. It's not offensive. I'm looking for the good word. It's just it's really disgusting and. Just how little attention he gets, while you know it's all about fuckboy Assange and his bullshit charges, and you know, I mean, we have real people we have met, and you know that they are just you know, they post a meme or something, but they don't fight. They don't fight as hard for their friends as they do for manufactured heroes, and that's really upsetting, man. That's an absolute disgrace. That's the word I was looking for. It's disgraceful.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking about a group of people. You're referring to a group of people, though. I mean, the people that support Assange now. I mean, because I see some backlash a little bit, some people raising their sense because of the information that's presented. But those sort of people have the wherewithal, I guess, for lack of better words, to think that they have the freedom to speak whatever they like, right? Whether they offend anybody or not. But God forbid you say anything that offends them. They want to, you know, censor you. They want to, you know, shut you up somehow. Maybe even they want to DM you some death threats. You know, I don't. How could you in your life stand for one morality and then go back on that and practice? I mean, and I feel like that's where a lot of Julian's support comes from, you know, is the people who don't really understand, people who really don't want to open their eyes and look. They think they're awake. You know?
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Yeah, no shit, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, owner. Hey, can I say something?
No, it's cool.
It's just like after all that all of us have been through as activists and all that, it was like the whole. We always thought that anonymous that anonymous was once. Well, I always thought it was controlled, but at least I found a platform where I can say what we wanted or do whatever we wanted. However, the hatred of video gaming, the whole the support of not only Julian Assange but Assad as well. Not to mention all the infighting that's been going on for the past 3 years, and all that shit is toll on me and DTE and you too, owner. I started to ask this question about it made me question the Anon idea as well. I was like, in fact, I went as further as to think, can we please just, if this is how anonymous idea is going to act, then can we please just do away with the whole idea to begin with? Anon idea, dogma. It's becoming the biggest. It's the biggest load of garbage since the whatever era that came up, since the Obama era. Yeah.
Agree 100%. Like, I mean, and we got to understand that, you know, divide and conquer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Machiavellism, but yeah, definitely. And I feel like 100% they've incorporated it by attacking certain, I guess, people, you know, within the collective, using means of, you know, however they really go about it to kind of keep it short, but they have a means of basically causing, you know, people to become divided, you know what I mean, under a certain pretense. And I mean, in a nutshell, that's where Anonymous has ended up. And the reason why it's there is because people refuse to activate for the right reasons. People activate for their ego, you know, which is
well said, man. I agree.
It's a part of the plan, though. You know, to control the opposition is definitely in the benefit of the people who oppose the opposition. You know what I mean? So if in fact they do,
even when sorry,
no, go ahead.
Even if you do want to call out Anonymous for his wrongdoings, it's gonna go. You're considered a fake anon. You're considered a fake anon if you don't agree with the idea at its whole. It's a religion just like any other. You know, we always like to attack like Parsa or all the other locales of Anon for doxing each other. Yet AK gets to do the same thing. Nobody bats an eyelash. Everybody,
right.
The AK gets to dox other innocent people or send death threats to innocent people, and nobody even bat an eyelash. It even happened to me. Yeah, yet right. I'm considered a faker. I was considered a fake Anon, quote unquote, way back in 2016, and yet everybody else gets to. Yet when you criticize their fake superheroes, just like it's also going to political arena too. We always like to. People always say Hillary Clinton and Pizzagate and all that shit. And although that might be true, and I do not support Hillary Clinton at all. I do not support her. I do not support the Democratic Party at all. I do not support the DNC. I do not support none of that. But yet, when Assad will start doing Pizzagate. What happens when Assad does it? What happens when Assad comes over to these parties, to the Pizzagate and starts raping children?
Well,
you ain't gonna bat an eyelash.
No,
it's completely fake.
Right.
It's completely,
the
idea and code is fake. And yet it's held upon as the standard for Anon. Fuck off with this garbage.
Right. And anybody who supports, Julian Assange is definitely far from awake simply based on the fact if you follow the money, I bet you anybody watches this live stream, whatever, or watches this, I bet you 90% of the people who support Julian that see this haven't even looked at the partners page on WikiLeaks showing who funds them. I mean, I actually asked around a little bit to kind of see, where people were at with that, and I didn't see any responses like, yeah, I know where he gets his money from outside of the donations people give him. What about the companies? What about the companies that back WikiLeaks, that have backed Julian? I mean, you know, Soros is tied in there. You know, we got, you know, a bunch of issues with that. I mean, he's using Rothschild's lawyers, his law firm.
Rothschild, aka dark, courtesy of the dark occult Illuminati.
Yeah, I'm showing a screen share right now of you know, Assange on The Economist. Now, if anybody knows anything about The Economist, I mean, that should tell the story. That's the narrative, guys.
Even
but they don't want people
to
believe it.
It's not.
What's
just,
that?
He wasn't just on The Economist. You know, he got awarded by The Economist as well as Time Magazine.
Right.
He won a bunch of awards. Yeah. I mean, it's just like I told Mark then. You know, real heroes or like real whistleblowers don't get magazine covers and awards and stuff like and statues. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Statues in
it's fake.
Germany. I mean,
if you're real,
yeah.
If you're a real hero. If they don't even give you the slightest time of day, you're legit.
Yep, you either get bought out. I mean, it's really just silver or lead. You know, like they say in Mexico. That's how they do it, man. And
right, I mean,
the fuck out of you.
Right. I mean, personally, I mean, and honestly, you know, I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of bad that I spent all that time following this dude, you know, supporting him and thinking that maybe he would spark a little something in changing the way that things were and the way governments were, you know, tyrants over the people. And honestly, that fucking goal. You know, the goal here is money. The goal here is power. If they could feed you some information to get you to believe something, and they control the information, then they control the opposition.
Yep. Well,
I mean, and it's just
the money, man. I mean, when you look at just throughout the history of WikiLeaks, you know, the things they have helped with, you know, they helped spark the Arab Spring. I mean, they helped Trump in office. I mean, they helped the globalist plan. I mean, people then blame it to Russia, but I mean, it's meant for the U.S. to collapse, man. We've got so many quotes of them saying it, man. Like Gorbachev, or I don't know which one. We've got so many quotes, you know. USA is about it has to get destroyed. I mean, it's all about shifting powers, you know. But they blame it Russia or whatever it is, but. I forgot where my story
in the right is trust the plan, QAnon. In the left, it's Russia this, Russia that. You don't hear nothing about the dark occult, though. You don't hear nothing about Israel, though. You don't hear nothing about Syria. You don't hear nothing about Palestine, nothing.
Well, you hear a lot about Syria as well, but you know, it's all half truths and whatever. But you also never hear anything, at least not a lot, or anything bad about the British royals and anything. You know, like the royals and the Vatican. You might hear some child abuse stuff, but you know,
you don't hear their control of the global, the control of the world. All they hear about from the Vatican and the Pope is the child abuse this, child abuse that. You don't hear nothing about the control of the planet.
Yeah, but
you don't hear nothing about the Pope owning the world.
Just looking at how powerful the Pope is, you know, and even then, these stories coming out just shows how bad it is. Because you know, if it's just a few stories, then they can just censor it. You know, it's so bad that it just
it gets even worse, though. I mean, and coming from somebody who's studied a little bit of theology and you know and stuff like that, I wouldn't really consider myself a theologian, but I definitely 100% spent some time, you know, trying to educate myself and. I actually went to, you know, and took some whatever in seminary, spare you the details, but one of the first things that, you know, I had seen and, you know, that I was taught was basically the Catholic Church was a lie. You know, you gotta understand that, you know, they forced you know, somebody to paint a picture of Caesar Borgia, who was actually the seventh Pope of Rome's son. Who was a white man with long hair, you know, he had blue eyes, whatever. They forced all the churches to hang a picture of the seventh Pope of Rome's son in all the Catholic churches. That's the depiction of so-called Jesus Christ, as they say it, today, right? Now, the thing is Caesar Borgia had sex with his sister, killed his brother. Okay, he persecuted Christians, you know, and I'm not saying believe, I'm not trying to push any beliefs on anybody, but I'm just stating facts that, you know, I mean, if you think it could get worse, you know, people who follow this sort of religious occult, the letter J didn't even exist in the English language at the time of the first English translation of the Bible, and they call him Jesus, and that's the epitome. That's basically the result of the Catholic Church.
That's an interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But just looking at it, I mean, how many people in the Middle East were called Michael and John and Paul and whatever, man? It's just,
right.
There's so many dodgy things about religion, and you know, these things are, in my opinion, you know, just control mechanisms. You know, just good stuff.
Exactly.
Some children wrapped in fairy tales and a lot of astronomy as well. And abused or used for control. But you know, I also know people that are religious, a bunch of people, and you know, they're some of them are savages in a good way. Some are angels. You know, I can't judge someone for being religious, but religion itself is I don't like it, but you know, I mean, it's such a rabbit hole, man. Let's not go there, man.
I'm willing to go down that rabbit hole, DTE. I've gone down plenty of them.
Yeah, but it's the religion thing is so there's so much, especially the Abrahamic stuff. I mean, the whole Adam and Eve. I mean, just reading it is just, I mean, like, you know, you can't certainly not take it literally. So okay, so then it's about interpretation, and you know, there you go. So you've got this book.
Yeah, a lot of these
so much authority, you know, because they give it so much authority, while it's so open for interpretation and whatever. I mean, it's just it's a recipe for disaster, man. And in my opinion, designed that way. But yeah, that's my opinion, of course. Man.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to point out. I mean, I was being the bad guys with this stuff. Did you say?
I was like, where the hell are my peppers at for real? I wanted to show you my peppers on camera.
Your peppers?
Yeah.
Oh, you grew peppers?
Yeah. I wanted to show you them on camera.
Show me the fucking peppers, bro.
All right, I'll do that. I'll be right back.
I think you bought some, man. You cheating motherfucker.
No, I didn't.
How fast did those peppers grow, man? Just like in 2 weeks you had full-grown peppers?
You'll be able to tell. I'm proud.
Yeah, you cheated, man.
They're homegrown, bro. I'll show you.
Shit. No, I mean, back though. I mean, make this sort of a thing where we're educating the people, you know, and because I do 100% know for a fact that this is a tool that they're using to divide everybody who's got common goals. And, you know, the whole Unity for J thing is...
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, man. Same thing, you know, everybody's shilling out for free speech to somebody who's fascist enough to censor people or even change, you know, leaks to basically suppress information or to have a bias to free speech. If you really look at what free speech is, there's far behind it. That is far. I mean,
you're breaking up again, man. I could understand what you said, but I don't know what's up, man. Maybe it's Jaleel streaming. Don't show me the deal, though, man. Take that deal out of here, man.
Hey, you can't be like.
That's okay. That's okay, Jaleel. Thanks. Okay, cheers. Go on, man. Sorry.
Hey, you wanted to show you the proof.
Yeah, thanks, man. I think you just bought them, but yeah, go on, man. Go on.
I couldn't really get any pics until I had to have that shit streamed. It's not really I couldn't have any pics, so I couldn't get any pics on the phone because it has to stream for it to work. So I decided to show it on stream.
It's all good.
I just want to make, you know, another little statement, I guess. In order to be anonymous, guys, you have to be unknown.
Yeah.
Gotta
That's
be.
definitely a fact.
And none of them are
all
really
these
anonymous
anons.
because they all have an individual name. I mean, it's really like pseudonymous. So it's
Yeah.
They
individual
make me
names
look
and
like a god.
avatars, and so it's not even the definition is not anonymous. And just looking at the idea, they don't represent it majority of the time. And I'm sure there's some good anons out there. I mean, I can name a few, but it's you can't see them because of the flood of fucktards. I mean, it's really just a drop in the bucket, man. In my opinion, of course.
Bro.
It's a wasted platform. It's really.
Yeah, a lot of them don't even like gaming. Just like
It's not in a creed or anything or the idea. I mean, it's about anonymity, and so you got a Commander X showing his face, and we all know his name, but somehow he's still anonymous, supposedly. And the same with AK.
Well, and he's supposedly the leader too.
Yeah,
or Max Steel,
the
AK or Max Steel. Those two.
No, he's a founder. He's not a lead. Yeah, founder. I mean, just like you said, it's all ego-driven mentality, man. It's not doing for the right
ego-driven. I'm sorry. And ego-driven, the more ego-driven it is, the easier it is for the elite to control.
Well, yeah, because the fact that people are 100%.
Simple as that.
Let him speak, Jalil.
Sorry about that. No.
Well, so much about what people think about them. How can there ever be a them if they're anonymous? I mean, bottom line is there isn't a you because you're what? Anonymous. You're autonomous. So if we bring ourselves into the equation physically, then
you're not anon anymore.
Not at all. And who wants some toothless, homeless guy running the fucking show? I mean, come on, man. People, wake the fuck up.
Not to mention the fact that they hate gamers. They all hate gamers. and just because DTE doesn't like Sonic doesn't mean he's not. It doesn't mean me and him don't get along. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason I don't like Sonic is because you just spam my fucking notifications with just the gay ass fucking.
That's all good.
And I like playing Sonic, but I'm not gonna post pictures of GTA and the whole thing. I mean, I encourage you to do your thing, but I just have to call you a faggot once in a while, And
you know what I mean? I gotta call you a faggot too if you spam GTA as well. Either way, we get along. So.
Well, right. I mean,
I expect you to return the favor. It's not like only me. I mean, you have to call me out on it as well. Sorry, man, go on.
It's all
I mean, I bring it back to why do we activate? That's my whole thing. That's been something I've been thinking about for the last couple of months. You know what I mean? Since basically the whole unknown thing started to sort of take off. And what's the reason for being an activist? I mean, what are we really fighting for? I mean, in all reality, when people are infighting, and they can't get along, and they all have like views, they all have like goals, but they can't get along. That's because the ego's overtaken their whole movement, and for somebody to be autonomous and to have an ego, I mean, that just says that they're contradicting themselves. And then the explanation I get is that the whole thing's a contradiction. Well, I mean, with that being said, I mean, then you could yell out free speech and censor people. The only difference is I'm not going to fucking support that. I ain't going to be a part of that.
It's the same.
Nor am I going to promote it.
And if you don't agree with it, you're a fake anon, and we're gonna put you on the blacklist.
Yeah, we're gonna take down unknownonline.me. No.
They haven't done shit, bro.
No, they can't do shit. And matter of fact, I'll challenge them to. And it's funny that Commander X, this guy who's supposed to be this powerful old hacktivist, like some fucking dit, can't even do it. Can't even do it.
Because he's home.
And he goes and sets up these damn sites. Yeah, because.
Yeah, it's really, it symbolizes the patheticness. It's so fucking pathetic, man. It's just. I mean, especially
Yeah,
now
people just
with OpQ, you see it played out so perfectly. You know, the one is really just left-sided, left wing, and one is right wing, and it's so ridiculous, man. They all just play
isn't it?
into the narrative so beautifully. You know, it's almost like it's meant to be that way, and they're helping. You know,
Because it's the Illuminati, because it's
Do you
elite
think-
control.
Yeah, do you think
That's
that
just
they
that
look
it.
around?
It's just the same.
I mean, you've got this Anon.
Do you think that they look around for?
I'm sorry, man. You've got this Anon to World, for example. I mean, so he's pushing this OpQ. You know, and he pushes the official narrative of 9/11. You know, and he thinks the New World Order doesn't matter how much evidence I might present. The New World Order is an Alex Jones conspiracy theory. You know, I mean, you've got. I mean, so how does such a person have so much authority? Because there is a hierarchy in that fucking Anonymous. So how can such a person have so much authority that it's just spewing the MSM, you know? And it's not even. It's so pathetic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, it's like
that in
whatever.
itself. How can you?
woke people are much worse than sheeple.
Well,
You're right.
In a way, they are, because some people. I mean, it's not about how little people know. It's about how they handle information. In my opinion, you know. I mean, if you are presented with new facts and you just disregard, just dismiss it because it contradicts your beliefs, it's just as bad as just blindly believing everything. You know, it's just as sheepish. You know, so for me, those people. I mean. But and that's not even like you were talking about. It's not even mentioning about okay, so what are we doing to really change anything? You know, and it's really just nothing. It's really just spamming everybody's timeline with whatever the fuck you want
it's quite
other
a
people to do
distraction.
for you, because that's what they always do. It's like we need to do this, and you need to do it, and if we all just do our own thing, we can collaborate and whatever. But they all want this. Oh, if we're all just united enough and we hold hands, and I mean, these people have so little life experience. They probably haven't even protested yet. So okay,
Right.
we unite and we stand on some kind of dumbass square, and so then what? You think the elite is impressed with that shit? I mean, it's so
Oh,
we're
no, hell
united,
no.
and it's not even getting started, man. And it's and they do nothing to. They talk about Monsanto while eating GMOs. That's how fucking pathetic this is.
Yeah, I mean, and you got people, well, before I even say that, I mean, I think they ever first take a couple look around, see how common their goals are amongst their peers that are within this whole divided, thing. I mean, nobody can get along. I mean, look, you got people that even want to try to smear someone like me, right, or whatever, calling me a Fed, when, matter of fact, I think I had a big hand in one of their operations that was actually pretty damn successful. You know what I mean? Like, it's just tearing each other down.
Ego, I know.
Right. And to be clear, if it hasn't been evident already, supporting Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, whatever, is not my goal. My goal is to do the opposite, to present the information and the facts to get everybody on the same page. Because what's going to happen if the dude gets arrested? He's going to disappear for a couple weeks, maybe. Maybe a month or two. Who knows?
It will only add to his martyr status. It will add to his rep. It doesn't look for me. It doesn't matter. I mean, I do personally. I don't want to discourage you from anything, but just me personally. I'm so done with trying to get people on the same page, because we're all different pages. All we can do is just be as honest as we can and present the info and as we can, and just kick ass whenever we want and however we want. Man, I'm just. And just do our own thing, and then just lead by example, instead of just, again, like everyone else is doing, complaining about we need to do this, and the system is fucked up, and if we all just vote for this, and it's not something I want to. With energy, I mean, I've tried to convince people of my interpretation of things is too much, man. It's really just.
Yeah, you did the
I rather
same with
just.
me, bro.
I'm sorry.
You did what you can. You did the same with me, bro.
I'm sure I did. I mean, I've tried to with everybody.
Yeah,
Just
you did,
show 'em what-
and it worked. Yeah, and it worked. And ever since then, niggas is on my ass. It's working somewhat.
You were always, look, man. We were always pretty much on the same page, man. There were some things that I might need to present you some other info, but you're open-minded. You look at the other info, and then make up your own mind, man. It's not. I don't want to enforce my vision onto others, because that's what I have been doing for a long time. If I'm really honest with myself. I'm not gonna do it anymore, man. I'm just trying to do my own thing. Just really just
Same
lead.
thing
I
here.
don't want to lead, but lead by example. Just show, show.
Well, that's the whole idea behind the whole thing, in my opinion. I know what it is. That, we for the defined purpose of anonymous. You know what I mean? Like, not we.
You're breaking up again, man. Jaleel, can you hear him okay, or is he breaking up?
I can hear him. Well? I can hear him okay. I don't really mind his mic breaking apart.
But
as far as he can speak his mind through it, probably he's cool.
I'm just wondering if it's my connection or his connection. I'm just wondering.
It's
as I was saying, like,
let me reboot real quick, man. I'll be right back.
As I was saying, owner, it's like none of the have they ever decided to ever have fun and enjoy life? Even I need to enjoy life. I mean, I'm getting back out doing it. I mean, it's a head start. I'm like, have they ever played video games, getting themselves some sort of a release from time to time, bro? Have they ever stepped out and had some fun, enjoyed some football? I mean, I know it was a sheep thing. Well, whatever. I mean, have a good time. It's like none of these dudes ever even have a good time. They're too busy trying to be woke and shit. I mean,
right.
So what? It may make me a sheeple, but so what? And at some point, I've also taken a look at myself during these past few months, and I'm starting to realize that I might probably have to go out and talk to and socialize with other people. And guess what? They're gonna be sheeple. No big deal.
Right.
Hey.
Right.
Hey, they're gonna be sheeple. Just because we can't. Just because we may not see eye to eye doesn't mean we can't have fun.
Right.
And so what? Sports might be controlled, but hey, at least it gets you some good release. At the very least, it's fun to watch. What's watching politics ever done? Nothing but more misery.
Divide. That's the plan, man. Is divide. And then once everybody's divided, right, they're gonna fight. And when they fight, then is when the obvious happens. That's when the power over the opposition is taking place, and they start to usher in whatever their plan is. Basically taking out the opposition. What would be sort of in what the plan's going to. Personally, how can we call ourselves activists if we're falling for this shit? We're over there tweeting everything about, chat. I mean, bro,
Assad is. They saying Assad is awesome. Oh, Assad is awesome. And Hillary Clinton is involved in Pizzagate. We must attack her. So yeah, she's involved in Pizzagate. She's involved in raping innocent children. She and the Democrats and all the other Republicans in there are taking children in there and molesting them. So yeah, that is true. But what if Assad joins in and does it? All of a sudden, it's perfectly okay. Right. Long live Assad in Zionist Syria. He may be raping innocent American and Syrian children, but it's cool. It's cool because he's Bashar al-Washash, and he is the best. Oh, don't mind the fact that he's 12th Paradisian. Don't mind the fact that that the Bible has named him 12th Paradisian. And don't mind the fact that the name Wahash means beast, that he's Bashar the Beast. And don't mind he has to bomb innocent children to fulfill a Bible prophecy. Again, the Illuminati fulfill Bible prophecy. If they're not sacrificing people to Satan, if they're not sacrificing people or cutting kids up and putting them in McDonald's, they're fulfilling Bible prophecy. Right. Don't mind that.
Regardless of what you
regardless, he's the best, right? Get out of here with that crazy talk.
Fuck that. Right, I think
Assad and Putin getting in it. If their little heroes get into it, their little controlled opposition, the BRCS starts getting into Pizzagate. If it takes off again, they ain't not gonna bat no eyelash. Ooh, even better. What if Julian bin Laden gets into Pizzagate and starts participating and go backpedals and participates in it? They ain't gonna bat an eyelash.
Yeah, and I see people who call themselves, anarchists who are now joining the flag of, the obviously Twitter, get more involved. I don't get how, because the consensus tells them to. Woke question everything. And I see less and less people questioning things. I just see more and more people following Guy Fawkes mask of some person they don't know, you know what I mean, who basically leads down this called hole that brings you to some toothless, maskless, very not so anonymous guy. And then you got him who takes credit for what? Basically the whole thing, and then nobody holds him accountable. I mean, I don't understand why people support a thing that is against their beliefs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean. And don't get me wrong, I am pure anarchist. I'm not necessarily pure anarchist, but I might probably be getting there. But I'm an anarchist in philosophy. I am a Hakersec anarchist. If I'm not repping Sonic the Hedgehog, video gaming, and all that other shit, I'm repping Hakersec, plain and simple. And shouts out to Anon TH and Yuri and DTE for putting me up on that. I'm pure Hakersec, and we don't do communism or anything. We might share that same ideals, and we might use that to, it's not necessary. It's not Antifa. We may use Molotov cocktails and all that, but whatever the case that may be, we may support it. We may not support that, but whatever the case may be, we don't even do communism. We do solidarity, mutual aid, and humanity. The only rule. That's it.
Yeah.
Hakersec doesn't do communism or free market or anti-market, whatever the hell that may be. We may not even believe in money or none of that, or government or any of that, but we have one thing: humanity, the only rule, and that's it. Humanity, the only rule, and that is it. We are that's the real resistance. And I wanted to bring that back, and my homie, and one of the true, real, and good Anons I look up to, Anon TH Hakersec. He has pretty goddamn good videos. He has good pictures. He has great wallpapers and all that. He has great animation gifts regarding to this thing. He spent a whole lot of time with it, and he probably opened my eyes to all this shit. He's the reason why I decided to become full-on anarchist and decide to actually do something. if given the chance. And I see these people in Antifa. When I look at Antifa, I look at these goddamn commies ruining everything. And am I a proponent of direct action? Of course I'm a proponent of direct action, but not in the way they doing it. They ruining it. They are ruining direct action with their communism, right, and their Antifa and their punching people in the face. That's not direct action. That's not anarchism. That's not direct action. That's being a fucking idiot. That's being a dumbass nigga. Yeah.
But what is direct action? It's just not action you like there.
That's falling into the controlled narrative.
They are with Antifa, right? I'm sorry.
In the chat box on the stream, someone asked
asked to Anon TH Shakersekis.
No, it's okay. I just have gas in the box, whatever.
And if you do want to know who is anyone on the stream,
question is many not people with ego that is breaking from.
I can't fucking hear you, man. You're breaking up so much, man.
Okay, yeah. If you do want, if anyone on the stream does wants to know what he is, who TH is, check out the channel. He's got some pretty goddamn good videos. I even have it bookmarked. He keeps reminding me day after day why I have to be anarchist and anti-system. He keeps reminding me day after day why I have to keep pushing on, even throughout all the lectures. Just keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing.
Right.
Yeah, because of this, I'm not gonna give up on fighting the New World Order, and I'm not gonna give up on this direct action thing. I just don't like how they're doing it. Antifa is doing it. They're ruining it with the communism. They're ruining it with their Stalinism or Leninism or.
Well, the problem also with Antifa is that they like they say it themselves, hate speech isn't free speech, So here we go again, It's like they have double standards. And look, I'm all for smashing Nazis, and like most are, but they're hypocrites, because.
Yeah. I like this. Yeah, bro. Well, I'm also all for direct action as well. If I do wind up having to go out on my own someday, I might probably punch a Nazi at one point. I might probably have to punch a Nazi at one point. At some point in my life, if this changes. But
in America it's also decently bad, of course. But
especially in America. But
I mean, it was created by the German Communist Party, the original Antifa, and it's just. So they have like this refuse fascism with I'm still not sure it's a fraction of them or like a different group, but always working with Antifa or something. I mean, they have very clear and direct proven links to Soros and everything. I mean, the whole Antifa thing is just just left wing crap, still in the political narrative, and they're hypocrites, I'm all for smashing corporatism and all this stuff, but they're all snowflakes.
Hypocrites.
Almost like
they don't. You don't even hear them talk about the dark occult. You also hear them. I'm
sure they do. I mean, it's really just a very loose. It's a name for a very loose, just like Anonymous. I mean, there's a bunch of people. So you have a lot of people who are anti-Israel, but you also have a bunch of Antifa protests where they're waving "We support Israel" flags and stuff like that. So, but in general, it's you've got a few anarchists, but there's a lot of like communists and socialists and I mean.
I feel for TH. I really do, bro. He's pretty much one of the only dudes who supports this that has some semblance of common sense.
Yeah.
Man, he actually outright talks about the global elite, the Satanists, the dark occult. He talks about that, and because of this, that's what drew me to him, to watch his videos. I still support him, but back then in 2016, I kind of took it too far. I kind of idolized them a little bit. Yeah, it kind of. It was bordering on. Yeah, I was bordering on creepy, to be honest with you. I was bordering on creepy back then. It's calmed down now.
Good to see you back, man. You gotta be back. You gotta be back within 5 minutes or something. Otherwise, if the host isn't back in 5 minutes, I think.
I don't know how the hell that happened.
Oh, you don't know? Good.
Whoa, looks like it's gonna be the dream team again. Looks like it's gonna be the dream team. Just us three.
All right. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Target sighted. We can hear you. Let's get this camera rolling.
Yo, Jalil.
All right, now unfucking.
Do you have your? Sorry, man. Jalil, do you have your bandwidth to the low, adjusted too low, or?
Where's the bandwidth thing at?
It's at the top of the screen. You know, it's at the right of the turn camera off thing.
If you hit
like
the, it looks like a cell phone. Looks like a cell phone service bar thing. If you click on it, then you can adjust the
bandwidth usage is adjusted. Not much different.
Yeah, it's all we can do, really. I mean, I'm just desperately trying to improve the audio.
Right. Yeah, it's probably all on my end. You know, kind of.
It's adjusted to very low at this point.
It's Unity for JDOSing us and the CIA, and
yeah,
they're censoring us, and you know.
that'll be something to do. No. But to go back, I don't think we answered the question though that I brought up or whatever. What is the point of breaking from Anonymous? Is it only Assange? Is that the only reason?
Thanks. I didn't hear that question. For me, the list just goes on, and I mean, the only thing that kept me in kept me in Anonymous was Hive when I got asked for Heart Attack, for Operation Heart Attack. But then I was already done with it, so he invited me to Twitter, and so I met you guys, or at least you and a few others, but I was already done with Anonymous, and so that was way before Julian Assange. And for me, it's just the problem is that it's filled with shills and snowflakes. You've got so many fanboys. You've got like a few people putting in work, and the rest are just Guy Fawkes lovers. And
they just love the same movie.
Look, it's trendy to be woke these days, I mean, they don't really want to. I mean, they know shit's fucked up, and they I mean, it's different reasons for different people, I'm sure, but they this way they feel they're doing something about it. You know what I mean? So they think they're really changing anything. Meanwhile, they're just regurgitating old memes and whatever the fuck it is, while not changing anything besides. Feeding the same narrative, I mean,
and feeding.
They always point at the problems. They always point at the problems, in the Hegelian dialectics, right? Problem, reaction, solution.
Right.
They only at the problems. Well, the problems are being used to enslave us with the solutions, and the solutions, they encourage and they are glorified, whether it's whatever it is, man. So for me, I don't know.
Honestly, I don't mean to cut you off or none, but
no, go on, man.
in my response to the question, I don't think that we're breaking from Anonymous in any way, shape, or form, except for the name. We're just bringing it back to their original roots of Anonymous. Period. You know, I don't want to divide myself from anybody else who's got a like agenda, you know, and that's to speak truth, to find truth, and to expose truth. I mean, anybody who's got that in their agenda and is at least going to do their rightful, or at least go about it correctly, you know what I mean? I'm not separate from them. The only difference is that I'm an autonomous person. The only thing you might get out of me is my damn voice, if even that's even the real one, you know? But bottom line is I don't want to call myself anonymous because I'm not. I'm unknown. And actually, that's more powerful in terms of anonymity than anonymous, you know, because you can't be anonymous unless you're unknown. And some people think that's a pun, which sometimes it is a troll tool, but it is true. I mean, you look at it in the dictionary. I mean, people have this, I guess, correlation with, you know, what anonymous does and the name. You know, the name is now a name. It's an entity.
It's a brand. It's a brand. It's
a corporate brand.
Yeah, and where do you think anonymous always delivers comes from? I mean, that's their brand.
I think that's a good point. I mean, for me, look, I don't want to, how do I say, distance myself from, you know, anything completely. You know, there's still good announce that I appreciate anything, but I'm distancing myself from it as a movement and whatever. You know, I don't want any associations with it, with the movement, because it's about the idea, you know, and they don't follow the idea by, for starters, not being anonymous.
Right.
So you said it well, man, and we talked about this before. It's more like going back to the roots, how it should be, or at least, yeah, how I feel it should be, and just the definition alone as it should be. But it's for me, this if it's not anonymous anymore. This whole thing of being having anonymity, you know. It's blown out of the water as soon as you start getting usernames and avatars and you know, the ego stuff, and so it's already less about the pure truth, you know. And I love how the makers of or the people behind what was it, 2chan, or what was it? I think the Japanese channel, right? Like the thing about anonymity is that people. You don't get like elite posters, you know, like he gets respect and everything is pure about what is being said there, you know. Everything is just restarted. There's no reputation, and that all that stuff changed, you know, when the likes came into play on Twitter, and you know, when it became a movement instead of the idea manifesting. It's anonymous just wasn't anonymous anymore as soon as it left its natural habitat, which was 4chan, you know. That's
as soon as it left its natural habitat, that was the beginning of it.
Well, and the reason, I mean, we all understand, I know we do, because we've had this conversation before, but just for you, whoever listens or whatever watches this, you know, the reason why I think it left is because of the moderation that was happening on 4chan. You know, obviously the mods came in and things changed. You couldn't just say things out of pure free speech anymore. Now, where do you go for that? I mean, you go to, you know, 8chan, which is sort of a derivative, but unfortunately, they got mods on there too. You know, any social media network, period, does not have their platform set up for activism. You know, you're not entirely autonomous. You're not, you know, able to say whatever the hell you want, you know, and that's why I think, you know, what your idea of, you know, your roots is a great idea to build on, you know, because now I think we are in a good position where we provide the service and services that activists really need to operate, you know, without being conflicted by censorship and, you know, everything that basically the opposing force is trying to do to activists, you know, and I find it kind of funny that a lot of the people who, you know, support those very things and those antics don't support that idea simply because the ego's overridden their opinion, you know, and Commander Rex, not that his opinion fucking matters, but is a great example of that. You know, he once, you know, I got emails from the guy, you know, saying that he supports what we're doing. You know what I mean? But then he goes and he says,
false support. Same thing with my story.
Yeah, I mean,
he wants me to make money off of it. Whatever, man. You ain't gonna get a price out of me, nigga. That's my motherfucking story. I write it.
Well,
I write it. It's mine.
There ain't no money in activism.
It's not even. It's an anarchist story, and it's mine. Oh, and it involves gaming and football and rap music. Anything that faggots like. So essentially, you're not even gonna like it because it's gonna be filled with rap music and gaming and football. It's my motherfucking story, and I write it the way I want it.
Exactly.
Here. Yeah.
Touche.
Well, it's
He's
really,
trying to get money off of me. That's what it is.
I'm sorry, it's really it's beyond the whole thing. Again, the movement itself. I mean, for me, it's too pathetic. You know, just I tend to look at just people, individuals. You know, and when I just look at most Anons, they don't do anything. You know, really not anything besides just bitching about how bad things are. Oh, I'm sorry, that is waking people up. You know. They do nothing, you know. They don't grow their own food, or they don't even try to, or whatever it is, man. Be rebellious in whatever way you think is, you know, is helpful. But they do anything, man. And I've tried to do a lot of things with a lot of people, you know, just making proposals and or ideas, and you know, what should we do, and it's always nothing. So then I'm moving on, man, and. Yeah, I like going back to the whole real anonymity thing, you know. So nobody else is providing it.
It's not even the fact that
not any uncontrolled platform, and I just like to, you know, build your own. That's always the basis, man. You got to depend on yourself, and
again,
you know,
build
the
your
newer
own
ones.
Greetings, world. We are unknown.
Yeah. Just like in real life, build your own shit. That's what I've been planning.
Right.
Build your own shit.
Well,
Leave
I mean, in lieu of,
motherfuckers alone. That's my group. That's my plan.
I mean, when you got all these companies, you know, owning things, I mean, the only thing they ever do, the only reason they ever do anything is for profit. You know what I mean? And they're taking user data and they're mining it and they're selling it to the highest bidder for whatever fucking prerogative they have. And, you know, anybody who's really into what we do and, you know, what Anonymous or whatever you want to call them do, or just hacktivism in itself in nature, can't be on a mainstream social media platform. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they're going to fucking, you know, watch you like fucking hawks, you know, and they're watching people left and right. I'm 100% sure. I mean, look at Phoenix. I mean,
Facebook,
Phoenix,
Twitter, whole thing.
Yeah, Phoenix in himself, you know, from what it says, I mean, he didn't really do much to skewer his location, I guess, in a sense where he wasn't going to get caught doing what he was doing. But I think a part of it was if he wasn't doing what he was doing on a mainstream social media platform in the manner he was, then it would have been a better outcome for him. You know, like maybe owning your own platform, posting whatever information you post on there, and then just linking to it. I think that in itself is better than, you know, because
if you really want to get the word out on social media, like do it like that. And I mean, it's a thin line, of course, you know, because you know, you want to get the word out, or you know, whatever it is, but you don't want to. Sorry. but you don't want it to evolve into like an ego fag thing, you know. So
Right.
Which is pretty much everyone on Twitter, right? So let's be
Not even
clear
just
about
everyone
that.
on Twitter. There's everyone. It was everybody on Google Plus as well.
Yeah, but that's your experience. But Twitter was always there as well, and I'm right there with you, man. I was always there with you on Google Plus, and I agree with you. But Twitter has always also been there, right? So it's really for me it was a new experience, Twitter. But I mean, there's a lot more people on it. You know, everyone has a Twitter account, every company and everything. So
Right.
that opened up some doors. But yeah. I'm sorry.
People just want followers. People worship the following, you know, and it's a thing where now it's basically clouding the movement, or for lack of better words, it's obfuscating the goal of the movement that we've been a part of so much. And honestly, it all comes back to just the one thing, that one little thing that nobody ever really thinks about, and that's that fucking ego, the egotistical nature of humankind. You know, that's the thing that's always going to kill something like what we do all the time, you know, and there can't be any of that in there, you know. Granted, everybody wants to be somebody bigger than they are. I mean, that's a part of, you know, society. I mean, only simply because they impose depression on us using methods and means that we can't always avoid. But, you know, the thing is if we just you know, accept the fact that we can't be branded, because if we are, then we're going against everything that we've ever sought forth in any sort of activism. I mean,
and also if you do get branded, you're branded, you're owned and controlled. That's how they get you. That's how they control you. Oh, and by the way, even though I was at that point where I might wanted some followers, I am extremely picky on which followers that I was getting back in the time. And to be honest, a lot of my Twitter followers were almost all Trump supporters, or all Antifa supporters, or anyone that's not gaming, or anyone that's not anything that is almost MAGA fags and Trump fags, or whatever the hell that is. I had, you know how many followers? I didn't accept the followers, say, hey, I got a great following. No, I blocked all of them. You know how many times I had to press the block button? Numerous times, in numerous fucking tenures. You know how many fights I got into with followers on G+? That's another reason. That's another reason why I'm doing this unknown thing. And as for the idea, although it's not even the fact that they're going against the idea, is that the idea started to really fold and collapse within itself, and it started to become the biggest piece of garbage the world's ever seen. Look at it, what it's become.
Well, the idea
we started not even just egos. We started categorizing each other. We started categorizing who's real or who's fake. It starts a mistrust. It's a mistrust.
How else can anybody oppress anybody, though, if nobody's put in their little categories and all that? I mean, that it's a part of the narrative that the globalists are imposing on people like us and our movements. I mean, why wouldn't people like Anonymous want to be a part of that and feed the narrative with the exact things that they want? I mean, I don't know if you hear the sarcasm in my voice, but I mean,
I did.
Jeez. It's not even sarcasm at this point. What you're saying only is true.
I wish it was sarcasm.
It is true. Absolutely. 10,000% fact. Because the majority of the Anons that say we support the idea, they're all full of shit.
Right.
Half of them even vote. Think about this.
Yeah, for sure. Again, it's trendy to be woke, and you know, it's if you just use Anon in your name and get a Guy Fawkes mask in your avatar, then you're a revolutionary, and then you're something. But yeah, I mean, if you look
I
at
threw
generally,
that mask in the garbage can, bro.
A lot of people don't take Anonymous seriously anymore, especially lots of crews, man. They don't take Anonymous seriously because they're either CIA or they're just fake or whatever, man. So yeah, try to let them look at, it's about the idea. So, they don't understand that. They just look at it as a whole, the people doing it and whatever. And it's pathetic. It's just another bandwagon. That's how what people have made it, what people have turned it into. So yeah, why use that name? I mean, just saying I'm anonymous is already making it less anonymous. You know what I mean? These labels, and it's having nothing as name, no avatar. That's anonymous. That's unknown. But what they're doing is just
right.
Yeah.
It's contradictory to their actions, what they say they believe and what they say they are. I mean, they're two distinct different things, you know what I mean? You can't be something that you don't act like. I mean, if say for an example, I mean, somebody who calls themselves hardworking, if they fucking physically are not a hardworking person, then they can't call themselves that. I mean, it's logic. Basic logic. Anybody who's been to any sort of school or anything, or anybody who's got a brain, let's just say that, would understand that. You can't.
It's really. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
For me, it's just the more I, do my own thing and look at it from a distance. It's really just a cult. It's not even an idea anymore. At least how, what they turn it into. It's really just a cult, and it reminds me more and more. I see more and more similarities between, the movement, Anonymous as a movement, and things like Flat Earth. It's really, it's just a cult, and there's lots of infighting, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. What you say or what you do, you're in Anonymous and you're part of the cool kids club. They really feel they're woke and they feel they're doing anything. Meanwhile, just guided perfectly, into the narrative they want to. And yeah.
Well, one thing that on some of the links you shared with me before in the past on Steemit, pertaining to the whole Assange thing. I've seen this quote over and over again on these pages, and it fits right in here. Truth fears no investigation. Let's investigate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, agreed.
Why?
Stay curious and question everything.
Yeah, because if you don't, then you're just
being dishonest.
Yeah,
no shit. Or whatever, man. And that's the unity for J. I mean, it's the same thing as Antifa. You've got fascists claiming to fight fascism.
Yeah. So I mean, you can't fight fascism with fascism. You can't fight darkness with darkness. You can't fight fire with fire. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
where's the logic?
Yeah, no shit. There's no logic, and that's why I was saying, owner, that I may be a supporter of direct action. I may be a supporter of solidarity and mutual aid. I may be a supporter of, fuck the system, delete the elite, with the mask and not really the mask, but the paper across the face from Molotov cocktails and shit. But I'm not, and that's why I say I'm not letting that off the table. I'm not leaving that off the table. It can be done when we want it. It can be done and it can be won. I just don't like the mindset of these people and how these motherfuckers go about it, because they're not doing it out of changing the world. They're doing it out of hate. And they're only destroying mom and pop stores out there. The people that work that actually work hard to get to where they are. They're not doing it against any government building because that may result in some needed change. If you're gonna go throw Molotov cocktails, do it at the government. Do it at the government building.
Right. Period. Now the thing is there's just a quote that I want to bring up off of here, that I'm screen sharing or whatever. Right here it says, "Good disinfo agents often tell the truth, particularly when they are starting out. It makes them more difficult to identify." That speaks volumes, because
it's almost the same. Alex Jones started off pretty good as well. You know, he said some good stuff.
Not even just Alex Jones and Julian Assange. they propped up Putin and Assad like that as well.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Even
for
DTE knows this.
Right.
They propped up Assad like that as well. And that's how they got these gullible motherfuckers out there believing that Assad is a good person.
I mean,
I'm not gonna go after easy fruit like Hillary Clinton. That doesn't mean that Hillary Clinton is a good person. She's evil. She's just low hanging fruit.
Oh, it's always
she's just easy fruit. I'm going after the ones that are most difficult, like Assad.
I've always done this as well, you know. But and that's the curse of, you know. Look, we're always trying to expose the people, the manufactured heroes, you know, the people they present to us as fighting for us. It's, you know, like Putin, Assad, Assange, and you know, Trump. You know, also like one of those examples. So you always get the most shit, you know, because people will. They will hate you for exposing it, you know. And some people are so they will fight to the death rather than admit there's really nobody fighting for them, you know. So they will rather die than admit to themselves, right? That there is no politician fighting for them. So yeah, it comes with the job, bro. So you might balance it out by also talking about Hillary and stuff, but I mean. It is what it is, bro. I mean, expect
not to mention for the fact that you can't even enjoy. It's not even just the fact, not just you can't do your own thing. You can't even do the thing that anonymous, and not to mention not even anonymous. The woke movement has become a cult at this point.
Yeah,
not even just hypocrites. It's become a cult at this point. You can't enjoy football. You can't enjoy basketball. You can't even enjoy video games because you're a sheep.
Well,
because you enjoy video games, you're a sheep. You enjoy football, music, you're a sheep.
Well, that's
because
stupid. The fascist movement won't allow us to be normal in any way without being sheeple. I mean, and this comes from a group of people who find it sort of difficult to believe that, you know, WikiLeaks and such or whatever is a part of a controlled opposition, though they have statues of Assange, Snowden, and Manning in Berlin. I mean, you're talking about, you know, a government that not only disagrees with what they have done, but they more or less want to prosecute, you know, these people, but they erect statues, and they don't want to question that. But then because you play video games,
like putrid dung. That's what they look like. Where'd they make them statues out of, huh? I want to find the material.
They look like metal.
Oh yeah, sure. The metal is colored shit black. I can get some shit black metal and build a statue of myself. They'll be like, "Hey, look at me! I'm some real metal.
Jaleel, shut the fuck up for a second, man. Let him finish his story, man.
Sorry about that, man.
I mean,
go on, man.
Sorry, bro.
I mean, just it's all good. Why would the German government, a U.S. ally, approve the erection of a statue of three people that almost every government in the world regards as criminals? I mean, the answer's on the page that I'm showing. I'm screen sharing right now. You know, because all three of them are working for the government as disinfo agents. I mean, the bottom line is we can't say we're standing for truth if we don't try to find it before we go and promote it. You
Present
know?
all the info, exactly, man. It can't just tell half the story, man. It's I agree.
Yeah, I
I
even
don't
had
see.
people tell me that they don't support anything Assange has done or nothing, blah, 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 but they're still supporting the movement for Assange for free speech.
But
I'm like,
I don't understand. I mean, people can support Assange or free speech or WikiLeaks. I mean, because they're two separate things, right? WikiLeaks and Assange. I mean, people
right,
can support all those things without jumping on the Unity for J shield wagon. You know, like I mean, because I mean, I don't want to automatically divide myself with people who just have an other opinion about stuff. I mean, it's about mostly, or at least a big part of it, you know. First, also exposing this stuff and being right there with me, exposing this stuff, and then switching opinions and uniting for that piece of shit with snitches and sellouts. We both agreed they are top-notch scumbags, you know. So how, you know, that's for me like, you know, I can't trust people like that, man. It's like. You know, if Assange is already enough for you to, you know, to be a turncoat, I don't even want to see what happens to you when they put some real controlled opposition, like in your face or in your near. I mean, people are too gullible. You know, I can't be bothered with that stuff, man. It's just, yeah, fuck it, man. Just do your thing, but stay the fuck out of my way with that stuff, man.
I
Blows my
definitely
mind,
agree.
man.
100%, you know, and we see eye to eye in a lot of stuff, and when we don't, you usually put me in my place. You know, and another issue that I found with Assange, you know, is the fact that he doesn't really condemn the actions of you know other people. They're much so is, I mean, in my opinion, that in itself is supporting their actions. You know what I mean? So if there's someone like Israel Shamir, Assange's friend, right?
Also, very dodgy character.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's
And when you look at the good ones he kicked out, you know, like John Young, or I'm sorry, John Young just left when he, you know, found out you know, they're after $5 million before, you know, launching WikiLeaks.
yeah, that was before they even launched it. And anybody who doesn't believe that, I definitely can give them a link to all the emails.
To the
Their
you know,
internal
crypto
emails.
leaks. Yeah, exactly. And again, like Mark said this as well. I don't believe John Young to be like uncontrolled as well. I mean, it's just he was also in that cypherpunk crew, you know, which is pretty much the origins of Anonymous before 4chan. You know, just like the whole hacking stuff at least. But,
Right.
fuck, I forgot where I was going with this. Yeah, a lot of good people were also kicked out, man. Like the Daniel, what's his name, the German dude, you know, and he questions Assange for like, okay, so you've got this rape charge or whatever it is. Maybe as an organization, maybe it's better for you to take a step back, you know, and handle your bullshit so WikiLeaks can, you know, move on. But no, you know, he kicked him out for causing problems during chaotic times.
Right.
I can't come up with the term. So it's you know, he kicks all the good ones out, and they all say the same. He runs like a fucking dictator.
Well, right.
And all the bad ones like that Israel. What's his Shamir? You know, I mean that's a good friend. I mean, yeah. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, that's how they control the narrative. You know, that's how they keep the narrative in the way they want it. You know what I mean? And we're talking about, you know, Julian Assange being friends with, you know, this Israel Shamir guy who basically leaked these cables, you know, to basically, in a nutshell, he leaked information that gave the government of Belarus, you know, a list of people who were a part of an opposing force or like activists, and there, in my understanding, it's actually illegal. So these people would then suffer the consequences based on, you know, what they're doing. Now, I never heard anything about Julian coming out and saying, oh, we don't support that, or I don't support his actions, blah, blah, blah. But this is a WikiLeaks deal. He was staffed by WikiLeaks at the time. Same with Assange, obviously. You know, when people ask questions about this stuff, you know, in their own public forum, for lack of better words, say on Discord, they want to fucking, you know, censor you. They want to block you. They want to kick you out. They don't want people because they don't feed trolls. That's their excuse, because they don't feed trolls. And honestly, a troll is somebody who's just activating on their free speech, in my opinion. Yeah,
some are, some aren't. But I mean, I think I mean, I am for sure a troll. I mean, I think trolling is just yeah, it's just it's a way of picking on someone and just or just questioning someone. There's a lot of trolls. I mean, for me, it's really just a test. I mean, how solid are your arguments, and how solid are your, you know, you as a person, your character. I mean, if you just can't stand any insults, I mean, you know, or just questions. Yeah, go on, man. I mean, AK started the bullshit. AK started that bullshit for this exact reason, you know, just having a different opinion on Assange and WikiLeaks, you know, and he just no, and that's a fake citation. He just, it doesn't matter. He just lies and manipulates, you know. And then so I just called him a shill and whatever, and he just blows just his lid off, man. He just blows his lid off.
I mean, but that's what happens when people who think they have truth are basically, you know, in the public's eyes, you know, put out as someone who doesn't.
Yeah, but they also don't get questioned enough, you know. And I felt the same way with it. And on the world, I mean, you can see it immediately. He doesn't like. He isn't used to his authority being questioned. Same with AK. Same with Commander X. You know, Commander X just insta blocks me. AK comes with the death and snitch threats, and Unity for J just censors you and bans. It's all the same.
yeah. It's not funny to me, or it's not coincidental that they all have the same action at the end. You know, in the end, when somebody's saying something that is relevant, right? Instead of addressing it the way that somebody who is a part of a truth movement should, they want to do what they fight against, right? I mean, come on, people.
They're a walking contradiction, you know. That's that's what I always say, man.
Yeah, that's a part of their creed, though. It's a part of
that's you know. And I mean, there's so many things, you know, that for me, look, I don't want to be like some kind of anti-anonymous, or I certainly don't think Unknowns is about that at all, you know. I mean, it's just about being an open platform and anonymity. I mean, I'm sure I don't even want to like we're non-political or anything. I mean, just bring it on, man. If you're political, I'll just troll the shit out of you or just whatever, man. It's about just an anonymity. I mean, I don't think a lot of people will post that kind of stuff because they all do it for the wrong reasons, you know. They all do it for the wrong reasons, which is their ego. So whatever, man. It's just setting the example, man. And
it's just the fact that before we were able to enjoy what we want, say what we want, do what we want as Anons. But ever since we had the creed, ever since we became cause oriented, ever since Anon became cause oriented and part of the woke movement, we started to get sloppy. We started to become more and more cult influenced, meaning we can't enjoy nothing that we want. Just like I'm watching this football game right now. Imagine if a regular average Anon saw me enjoying this football game right here. He would call me a sheep. He will say, I'm not as committed to Anonymous as he will say, you're not committed to the cause. You're not committed to that. Oh, I'm very committed. I just need a goddamn break once in a while.
My question to that is, what is the cause then? Most of those people can't even answer that question.
That's
what
right,
is the cause? I mean,
it's
chaos.
like
Chaos is justice, bro.
they'll
Love
take.
and powers and justice unites. You know that's. I like that part, but yeah, just like you say itself, it already says on the tin, you know, on the package that it's a contradiction. You know, anyone who says anything other than that, you know, is wrong.
right.
So
I mean,
it's for me the whole what is also a very big problem, part of the problem, that it's the lulls are gone. There are no lulls. There's not like, which is trolling as well. I mean, Anonymous used to be huge fucking trolls, and now you got Anons. Oh, why are you trolling? And you know, you can't troll Anons. I mean, what the fuck?
They're trolls. What do you expect?
What is this?
We're trolls. What do you expect? This is
the fact that there is a manual. The fact that there is a manual and a creed already rapes it. You know, for me, it's just
Right.
unknown. It's just like a burglar with a. It's just someone with a ski mask on or whatever. It's just someone who is. You don't know who it is, and it's spreading its message. Whatever the fuck it is, no creed, not even an idea, just unknown. So
yeah.
you know, the rest already is, I don't know, compromising it.
It's just like with this whole truth movement or Anon movement. It's like it's not even just the shills and snowflakes, and it's not even just the shills, the snowflakes, or support. They can support an evil politician bombing innocent children or cutting little kids up in McDonald's. They won't even say a word about that. Oh, but you're watching the Super Bowl. You're playing Sonic. You're enjoying rap music. You're not committed to the cause. These people can go bomb innocent, can go become controlled opposition, but you're watching the Super Bowl. So what? Super Bowl is controlled. At least we can do is dissect it. Besides, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. Let me watch my shit. It's fun to play Sonic. It's fun to play video games. Let me play my video games, goddammit. That's all I really wanted to goddamn do. Was play video games. That's it. You know what I mean? One of the things I wanted to do, that's the main thing I wanted to do. Play video games, draw, rap, watch the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So what? That's my goddamn thing. Everybody else has their thing. That doesn't mean I'm not committed to the cause.
Right.
We can fight the New World Order all day, but god damn it, give yourself a break. Have some fun for once in your life, god damn it, man. You see what I'm sizzling?
I feel it. I hear you loud and clear. You know, this is one of them things. You know, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea either. Like, you know, Delete said, we're not anti-anonymous. Okay, we're just anti-fucking shill boy, fame fagging, egotistical, whatever you want to call it. You know, we're 100% here just for truth, you know, not to try to disinform anybody. I mean, definitely anybody who wants to come on here and debate. Yeah,
that's why it was a good idea. That's why it was great that you put gaming on there or creative writing. I mean, yeah, he has something to enjoy.
Well, I mean, we're surrounded by so much negativity. We can't have anything positive in there. We can't have, you know, any of the stuff that people enjoy. Why? Simply because it harms.
It's controlled by the Illuminati. Well, so what? Some of it is fun to watch. Plus, it's also fun to watch the global elite bumble themselves. What are you? At least with sports, you're watching something that's enjoyable.
Right.
What is watching politics have done? What is watching the news? Nothing. You're just rotting your brain even further and going further down the negativity. And you just spewing narratives. And some of the people who watch the news, as well as whether it's CNN or Russia Today. I'll tell you, when I was watching Russia Today and all the other shit when I was 19 years old, I was the most miserable motherfucker. I was the most miserable as hell. I was cynical. I was pessimistic when I first found out about the global elite. You know what I mean? I thought maybe people would be on my side, but it turns out not even my parents were on my side. I wanted to die then. I really wanted to die. But until I found out video games was not necessarily going to save me, but at least something to enjoy. Or creative writing.
Right.
That's when I decided, you know what? Maybe suicide might not be the way. Maybe video games might be my way. Is it gonna save me? I don't even care to be saved, really. I just wanted to make my mark, as an unknown, by saying, hey, do something you like to enjoy. In fact, everything we enjoy might be free if we went back to the way we was living, without money. You know what I mean? It's the church of money. Niggas like to live in the church of money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, brings on a lot of comfortability, within money, I guess. I personally, money is just a piece of paper. That's it. The only reason why there's any sort of value on it is simply because somebody said there was value.
It's not even just some value. It's because niggas believe in it. It's a religion.
And how can you believe in
religious belief
something?
System?
Right. Well, anybody who's religious would be anti-money because the money's got the power over the people, which anybody who's studied any sort of theology or in the slightest was religious, they would know that power over is actually something their God opposes, because God opposes the proud and God does not, give power to humans because humans have fucked it up time and time again. Now that's
why it's best for us to be free.
Right.
It's best for us to be free, not tell anybody what to do. Not only do you get to do whatever you want, you actually find a way to understand what you have to do to take care of yourself. You have to actually find a way, and it will be, if you are not ruler, it means no stress. It means no stress. It means you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to tell anybody. If you don't tell anybody what to do, that means there's no stress. You have to tell somebody what to do 100,000 times. There's going to be a whole lot of stress. You're going to drive yourself insane. Rulers, to me, they are kind of slaves. Masters are kind of slaves. To me, they are kind of slaves. So there's just two slaves. If you make yourself a master, you're also making yourself a slave at the same time. You know what I mean?
A good point. That's a really good point. I mean, we can't stand around and allow these sort of things to happen if we are in fact who we say we are, with how we are in terms of, finding the truth and unveiling it. We can't stand here and not say anything about the stuff we're talking about because we are who we say we are. I mean, my question to everybody, though, is who are you? If you're known and, I think it's almost worse. If you have a name, right, in the field of what we do, then you're almost doing a disservice more so than anybody else by not holding others accountable to the standard that, we're referring to. I mean, and I guess what I'm trying to say is when we have people out there that are only doing shit out of the better good of themselves, why aren't we more of a collective holding these people accountable?
Because we don't want to. We don't want to. We're complacent.
Because they are the 99%, you know. It's like fighting against an ocean or something. It's like
it's a big problem, is all it is, right?
Right.
It's like, for me, this is not an anonymous problem. This is just a problem with, people in general, and especially millennials. It only gets worse and worse, man. The
older millennials. I'm I'm one of the younger ones.
Claiming you're like you said, man. It's I mean, being known, you know, in this area is really just like a robber leaving traces, you know, like on purpose, you know, like
yeah. And the point of the only reason why you would do anything like that under them circumstances is because you're dumb. To keep it blunt, I mean, if you're a robber or whatever, you know, and you leave evidence, that's only because you didn't think this shit all the way through.
Yeah, or but I mean, some do it on purpose, of course. Like
you may not.
If the famous robber who would always left "I love New York" shirt everywhere, or a cup or something, you know. But so they get a kick out of it. But most, you know, they do again for the ego, or I mean, they do it for being truly, you know, like they have to, like, you know, it's for my own safety, and you know, they'll do it for the fame fagging, and I mean, I don't know, man.
You know what I mean? It's like,
to go back to the fat thing, you know, if I find it disturbing how someone who just, you know, constantly is doing illegal stuff gets accused of you know, being a fat by a person whose closest friend, you know, does nothing at all but how do I say it? Pretend, that's the word, pretend he took down sites by posting fake URLs, you know?
Right, yeah.
You know, like stuff like that, which admitting after he was arrested or had questioned by the FBI. So how is... it's the double standard thing again. I'm looking for the logic here. I don't know, maybe it's me.
Everywhere I turn, the logic disappears. It's super intense.
It's not there anymore, man. Common sense is not common anymore, you know.
Right. Yeah.
There may times when we might not have to think anything through, except when it's most important. Except when it's most important, or when you're in certain situations. That's where you have to think anything through. If they don't think anything through at that point, then yeah.
Right.
So yeah, man. It's for me. It's not per se like being in like anti-anonymous or split off from anonymous. I'm just so done by using a name or a brand, or, you know, whatever it's called, whatever you want to call it, where I just don't feel. I don't feel any kind of affiliation with it anymore, man. Just when looking at the idea, maybe, but the people manifesting it, and especially how they manifest it, it's just not for me, man. It's just, I mean, keep your cool kids club and fun, you know, doing your stuff, you're posting your memes and bitching like, you know, every other woke sheep. But you know, I just look at individuals, you know. I just look at individuals, which is something they choose for, you know, by being pseudonymous. Not sure how it's pronounced.
Pseudo-anonymous.
Yes, pseudonymous. Yeah, the pseudonymous cult.
It's a cult, man.
The pseudonymous cult of pseudo woke people.
Pseudo
woke people telling you what you can and can't think, what they think is true. Be stuck in the bias. Don't enjoy gaming. Don't enjoy what you love.
I mean,
be miserable. A lot of these pseudo woke people, they're the most miserable motherfuckers the world's ever seen, dude.
What did you say?
A lot of those pseudo woke people, They're the most miserable motherfuckers the world's ever seen. They have nothing to enjoy. You know, DTE, you were right about when you're saying when you said enjoy life. After going outside for a couple of days, I'm trying to take that shit to heart. You know what I mean? Yo, DTE, you there? Damn.
Sounds like he's listening to some tunes.
I'm listening to some tunes too, bro.
Oh, yeah? Shoot, I'm listening to the same ones you're listening to. I was just fucking with
Yo,
you.
DTE, you there? So as I was saying, it's like DTE said go outside and enjoy life and get some sun. And after a while, I started going outside a little bit more starting on Friday. And it's like I have to, and ever since then, I started taking that to heart. I started to see his point. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm starting to see his point. Then I'm trying to get back into video gaming. I'm trying to get back into gaming. You know what I mean? So that way I can brush up on my skills as pro Sonic gamer.
Shit. That fucking downward B button.
Yeah, press the B button everywhere you go, son. Pick up your controllers. It's time for gaming.
Well, it's better to have control than to be controlled. I mean,
yeah,
that's for sure. I'd rather be playing video games than be controlled.
Yeah, no shit. Before I even got into Anonymous, I was in a gamer movement. So that's where my roots are. Before I even became awakened, I was a gamer. Pretty much. You know what I mean? So that's where my roots come from.
Right.
It's gaming. That's it. Gaming, sports, or whatever. Art. That's pretty much the only thing I've had interest in.
Yeah.
And for people to tell me that gaming is bad or a waste of time or do something for the revolution. What are we revolting against, right? Yes, right. Yeah, we were revolting against the Illuminati. That's right, but what are you doing against it? I've seen nothing. I've seen no progress whatsoever.
I haven't seen progress in a long time, honestly. I advocate for progress personally. I mean, the only way we can have progress, though, is by coming together, uniting, and fighting the same cause. I mean, if we all have the same opinions about the same things, minus a few small little excerpts, I mean, then why can't we? Why can't we just be activists together, you know, and do what activists do and activate? Let's activate for the reasons we all see eye to eye on. We don't have to deactivate because we disagree on something. I mean, and that's what I see more of. I see more people deactivating. You know, I see more people activating against activists, you know, and I may be guilty of it a little bit, but honestly, the people I attack aren't necessarily activists to me. They're paid for being activists, which is not activism. You don't get paid for trying to better society. You get zero, you know, you take nothing, you receive nothing, you know, and all we are supposed to do, in my opinion, is fight for the betterment of society and to fight tyranny when governments are oppressing people. And it's happening across the board everywhere. And the people I thought
that's what we're supposed to do, owner. But I don't really see it. And it's not even just activating against activists, calling each other fake anons because they don't agree with the cult-like code. and disparaging people's hobbies. Oh, why? Because it's a time waster. Oh, listen to that. Oh, he watched the Super Bowl. Do you know that's controlled by the global elite? Oh yeah, duh. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy it.
I mean, I agree to disagree in a sense, but I see where you're coming from 100%. You know what I mean? And that's just it. Is everybody's free to choose something, right? I mean,
yeah.
In my opinion, let a troll be a troll. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, though, there is a mission. For me, anyway, I have a mission, and my mission is to expose the fakeness in the people who try to run the show. You know what I mean? Personally, that's where the whole truth thing comes from for me. Is you know, like I see so many truthers not seeking truth.
The truth movement itself has been really just a setup. You know, when you look at all the main characters, who have been running this stuff, whether it's Alex Jones to Russian Vids or PK Truth, and you know, a lot of those big channels, and they're all sellouts, you know, and
Reggie from Boston.
To some extent, at least, you know, but these the truth movement itself is again another label, you know. It's I mean, I like unity, but I think if you want to unite, you gotta have individualism as well, you know. You can't depend on the rest to have freedom, you know. It's not like if I just wake up enough people, they will change it for me. You know, that's not how freedom works, you know. And I'm not trying to say that you are owner, but that's what I see from a lot of people. They have this mentality that if I just bitch about this stuff long enough, then you know, things will change. And the same is with the truth movement.
Well,
especially the truth movement. I mean, it's really just nothing at the moment.
Right.
It's really
yeah.
Well, I mean, for me,
nothing left.
I mean, for me,
I cry about it some more. Everything is gonna change
because people know the shit's fucked up. Only now for a few years already. It's okay. So what are you gonna do about it? And a lot of people did that by voting, and a lot of people are still complaining. And some people still took charge of their own lives. You know, like we are, and we still do activism, but we do it in our own way and not in their platforms and restrictions for what, you know, for what?
Well, I mean, I think what we've
their egos, their butt hurts, you know, like look at what the fuck is everybody doing, you know?
Yeah. It was and I think what we've done personally, not to like be ego driven again, you know, I don't want to make it sound like that's what we are, but what we've done, I think, is better because we've supplied a platform that can be utilized to do all the things to unite each other, you know, to be able to go somewhere where we're not being censored and we're not being, you know what I mean?
I feel comfortable there, man. That's I mean, and thank you for just you put in most of the work, you know, making it reality.
I can do anything with a computer with an idea, and your idea has definitely sparked a lot of change in the way that I am with what I do.
You know? It's not really my idea. It's just going back to, you know, how it started, and I mean, it's just like looking at hip hop, you know, how it started before all the ego bullshit, it was always ego and bragging, but before the selling out and all that stuff, you know. So it's just turning back to the roots, and what people, I mean, it's again just the practice what you I mean, everybody's complaining about censorship this, censorship that, and only a few are, you know, trying to bring a solution, you know, because people only want to complain so much that others will provide the solution. So you know, we created it ourselves, or mostly you, but it's the whole mentality of practice what you preach and lead by example, or setting the example, and And let me think of a more cliches. Build it and they will come. You know, stuff like that.
Right.
You know, instead of just I forgot whose quote it was, but you know, you don't fight the existing, you don't change the existing reality by yeah, by changing the model. Just build a new model so that the old one gets irrelevant, or I don't know, that's not the correct word. You know, just make
I think you're on the right track.
model. You know, I can't come up with the correct words. So I can look up the quotes. You know.
Yeah, but it's also like with the, you know, with the Minister Louis Farrakhan and shit. You know, it's not even just the truth movement. It's also the Black Power movement as well. And if you heard of if you heard my posts on Twitter before I deleted the entire shit, you would have seen a lot of Black Power movements owned by the Illuminati, owned by the Freemasons. You would have seen a whole lot of that. I've made posts about that, exposing this shit. Just ragging on them. They need to be exposed as well. They're doing their part to help the global elite too. It's like they think these movements. They think these movements, you know, like not just Black Panther Party, but Nation of Islam. The Moore Society, all of that shit is almost like anonymous in a way. Look what happened to Phoenix, bro. He thought the quote unquote Anon movement had his back, and when he found out he's in the system, he found out he by himself.
Bubonic for you says, "What's up, DTE?" from the chat box.
Hey man, how is it doing?
What's up, Bubonic?
Yeah, wait. Oh, he says a lot of stuff in here though that's actually pretty relevant. You know, he's like, when I got involved, there wasn't a corporized mask and the logo. It was just people doing things together to expose the truth and fight a system of slavery. All the epic fail guy, the mask, pop culture effect, hurt the cause. You know.
Yeah, Jack is always like Jack. He's also just a pure savage.
Yo, Boo, Bonnet, it's me. It is AKA the you know, Jules the Hedgehog or whatever. I used to go by that name, but Dizzy, if you can hear this in my voice, bro, and I just like to say what's up. I'd like to say what's up, man. How's everything going? Everything is going great with you today? That's cool.
So did you see that quote I just showed you now, which is, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. You know, it's just like it's just another wording of the same mentality. You know, just practice what you preach, lead by example, and build it and they will come. Whatever, man. Just
right. Don't troll a bunch of people and then expect not to be trolled.
Double standard thing, and hypocrisy is really off the charts by now. But it's really just this whole snowflake mentality, you know. This whole nobody is almost nobody is willing to get their hands dirty in whatever way it is. You know, they're just mostly followers, and then you've got a few leaders who, you know, like leader facts, who are mostly shills or scumbags or sellouts or whatever, you know, and it's whatever. I just want to do my own thing, and I can't do my own thing while using the Anon name, you know. I'm too, and I'm not even anonymous this way. So fuck it, man. Yeah. So, but I don't want to be some anti-Anon like Clownsec or whatever, you know. But I will certainly
even the
well, if we want to talk
the anti-Anons are hypocrites too.
Well, if we want to talk anti-Clownsec, we could definitely talk that. I mean, I'm definitely anti-Geo all day. I actually got the guy's criminal record. I don't know if you knew that, but
people have shown that, but then they get they weren't.
Not even the fact that he
didn't
has a
get
criminal
sentenced.
record.
They
It's
didn't
more
really
so.
get sentenced to it, you know. For me, the whole thing is again they form a club, and you know you've got this N2 Game Master who's just straight up snitch, and this Don White or what's his name, Don Jones. I forgot what his name was.
Ah, fuck, I can't either.
They all, you know, it's stuff that you know. Again, they're not practicing what they preach, you know. And I'm all for. I mean, just reporting someone on Twitter is already just like on the boundary of, you know, just what
Snitching to the popo.
Yeah, or to
That's what they do.
to the company, to your web host. You know, they need to take action with this IP. It's the same thing. You know, it's just
Yeah.
like proxy. And for me, the thing is when I just confront them with that. You know, it's okay. How do you feel about that? And they not only are they a hypocrite by supporting it, you know, because they're usually against snitches and whatever. But no, they're not. But they also, they, you know, they twist and turn about, you know, they come with bullshit reasons, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I still like Geo for some strange reason, but
he's quite the troll, man.
But you know, but at the same time, I'm like, oh man, come on, man, look, you're such a fucking faggot, man. Why did you fucking do that shit, man? So
Yeah.
it's okay. So we dust you, whatever, man.
Yeah.
It's like this, bro. It's like I'm not really trying to be anti-anonymous either, because not even just the fact that we just want to do our own thing, but let's be honest here, the anti-anonymous are just as bad. The anti-anonymous people are just as much hypocrites as the anonymous themselves.
Well, in general, the whole just being anti something, you know, is in general just not the way to go, unless you want to be like anti-lies or something. But like being anti this group or that, it's not gonna work because there are good individuals, you know. But you know, and even the idea I kind of support, or I don't want to, you know, put any effort into it anymore. But the whole movement is just beyond pathetic. It's just completely fagged and shielded out, man. It's just. I mean, I don't see them changing anything.
Then again, both sides are shielded and fagged out.
Nicaragua was cool. I did like that. Sorry, Jalil. What you said?
Then again, both sides are shielded and fagged out. Both anonymous and anti-anonymous. If you go into there are some anti-anonymous movements out there. If there are, they do exist. But 9 times out of 10, oh, God damn it.
Yeah, but look, I'm not saying it would show I would have some kind of obsession for anonymous or something, you know, and that's not the case. I mean, it frustrates the shit out of me to see how pathetic it is, but it's not like, okay, now I'm gonna put all my effort into destroying anonymous. I mean, I don't have to do anything for it. It's already gone, you know. It's just I'm just pointing it out whenever I feel like it, and whatever, man. I just I feel a lot freer now. Let's put it that way, man. Shit.
I mean, I'm 100% bought into the whole unity thing. You know what I mean? That's my motive. You know, like honestly, I'm not anti anybody, because if I was, and I'd be a hypocrite, honestly. But you know, we have to call it what it is, you know, and if anonymous is 100% what it is now, then we have to say it, you know what I mean? And whether people want to agree or not, that's up to them, you know. We'll present the facts, but you know, I think personally we have what it takes to be one, again, under no name, under one platform.
Well, I agree, man.
You know,
I mean, you're not gonna get unity by letting everybody agree on everything, but it's not gonna.
I see what y'all mean, bro.
Wait,
to be honest,
be all happy and cozy together as long as assholes like I am around. You know, it's not. So it has to be, you know, again, just taking the individuality out of it, you know, by using usernames and stuff like that, which is what a lot of people don't want to do because they want that, you know, they want the likes and all that stuff, you know. And,
they think it kills the lulz, you know. They think the lulz disappears some shit.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Which, you know, and honestly, I don't agree with that. I think personally, the lulz factor only appeases the ego and divides people. And, you know, and in a nutshell, lulz is great. Lulz does empower, you know, it's like a pat on the back, you know, for doing something good. But yet, is that the reason why we're doing it? Because if it is, then we're not doing the right thing, you know?
Well, I personally think that I always say if you're not, one does not simply fuck the system without having lulz doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
right.
if it gets you frustrated, then you're not doing it right. You know? So for me, I love, that's what I love about this stuff. You know, when we just take down sides or troll someone. I mean, yes, I do it for at least what I consider, you know, with my limited knowledge, what I consider to be the right reasons. But it's there has to be laws if it's just everybody's just frustrated and there's just too much negativity. I mean, I don't want to be like a lot of people like.
Yeah, me neither. It's just like
all positive. It can never be negative. I mean, it's yin yang, right? It's the balance of things, you know. But
Right.
I mean, if there's no lulz, which is pretty much never there. I mean, whether it's G+, Twitter, I mean, people. I don't know. There's not a lot of lulz there, you know. And you know, when you take down sites and you know there's no name and the lulz are still there because it's fun that site is down. That's,
Yes.
you know, that's what I prefer. You know, especially doing illegal stuff and what I believe was the original idea to begin with. You know, so
Right.
yeah.
I know that was the original idea. I mean, personally,
I know that for sure too, bro.
I mean, I've got a history, you know what I mean, and I'm not gonna brag, you know, it's not me anymore, though that used to be, but you know, I've been at this for a long time, under quite a few different names, you know, and I think
I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. I mean, that's the good thing about being unknown. If there are no accounts or you know individuality, it's okay to brag. You know, please brag. I mean, because it's not like it's going to. People don't know who it is doing it, so it's not about you. It's about the action. You know, so please, man, just brag. You know, that's what the fun thing is about it. You know, it's you can just brag without feeling guilty about it. Man.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I might probably do some more bragging myself. And as I was saying, you know, like
just make sure you.
I'm not even trying to be anti-anon and I can see Owner's point. And as I started thinking about it and listening to this show, I'm starting to agree with Owner more and more. Not to mention for the fact that, as I said, the anti-anon groups are just as hypocritical, just as shilled, just as fagged out, just as drama-filled as Anonymous. And there are going to be snitches and sellouts over there too.
So what are anti-anon groups? Name a few.
Clownsec, for one.
The Federal Bureau of Investigations.
I'm sorry,
is one of them. Let's see who else is it? Who else is in there? Who's anti-anon?
The Department of Justice.
Jason Goodman is one of them. He's a total hypocrite.
Quinn Michaels.
Oh, that Matrix dust addict.
He probably took both pills, didn't he?
Yeah.
He went and took both of them and got all fucked up. Now he thinks he knows the shit. His alter ego is Tyler, that motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think that somebody's gonna take his side out again today. After this program. After the messages, I think Quinn Michaels is gonna be hating again.
Does he still live in his car at the moment? I heard he was pretty fucked up. I heard he was in pretty rough shape at the moment.
Yeah, wasn't it directed energy weapons fucked up his lungs or something?
Yeah. But the doctor was like, no, it's probably just smoking. You know?
Yeah. Project Blue Beam.
The doctor wasn't buying it for shit. You know, I mean.
They don't care, man. They just they just spew whatever they can get away with, right? It's just like his car salesman, you know. They just
Right.
So whatever. It's,
just to show out, bro.
So, if I could remind everybody to not donate to Unity for Jay, please don't forget to not.
Please don't donate to that gay ass site.
Please just don't forget to don't donate. That's a double negative, I know, but you get it.
Don't forget to not donate.
Yeah. If anybody wants links to the internal emails to basically show their progress and funding before they even launched, definitely leave a comment and I'll definitely. Matter of fact, I'll put it in the description. How about that?
Yeah, and send some of my fuck yous to Dean Spanos too. He really needs it.
Fuck you, Spanos. Like those emails, they say that they're looking for $5 million, before launch, and then there was this media article where they're stating they made 1 million the first year or something. So we'll believe that's true or whatever. And I'm sure they had some court case and everything. But
yeah, I mean,
when you look at those numbers, like John Young said, I mean, you need like 50,000 or something, per year to set that, to have a good safe site, setting this stuff up, and then maybe some legal expense. But they already got that first million, and all those years they've been shilling,
Right.
They've been shilling, and they're not even a non-profit organization anymore, because they can't get away with that name anymore. Now they're a not-for-profit organization, so it's like we're pretending to be not aiming for donations, but if you make profit, so be it. It's not our fault.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but actually back in 2016, Trend Micro actually published a article talking about how WikiLeaks had a bunch of malware actually infected in their documents. So when their users were actually downloading their shit, they were actually getting infected with malware that,
Oh!
That's what I heard.
Oh my God, yo!
Fearless
Yeah.
I know
that they hide payloads in their PDFs, But what? Can you link me that article or name that journalist? Because I looked for it then and I couldn't find it, so I was wondering if you have.
I'll post it in the chat right now. But it's
Cool.
Trend Micro was the media company, but it was actually written by Christopher Budd. He's a global threat communications analyst. Let me get back to the thing, and I'll post it right in the chat box.
Oh, cool, thanks.
Welcome.
Holy shit. Malware, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, if they cared about their users, first and foremost, outside of their $5 million grant money, what the fuck were they doing with malware embedded in their damn PDFs? And not just that, but they published more than 80 strains of malware in their most recent email dump, according to this report, which came from Turkey's ruling Justice and Deployment Party, whatever. The infraction was discovered by cybersecurity expert Veselin Bronchev, who is an assistant professor at the Bulgarian Academy of Sciences National Laboratory of Computer Virology. That's chilling, dude. I mean, considering the amount of support they get, and $5 million, you'd think that shit would have some sort of protection. I mean,
that shit is evil, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and
Wiki and they support that shit.
Yeah, and actually,
WikiLeaks is uncompromised. Yeah, sure, it's just as uncompromised as the malware they put in their information PDFs.
Yeah, and according to this report, it actually isn't the first time. Back in 2010, a report by Trend Micro researchers, WikiLeaks related spam emails were being sent to unsuspecting users. The emails would contain triggering subject language like Iran nuclear bomb, that would entice users to open them, which would inevitably lead to people visiting pages that looked like WikiLeaks sites and unintentionally downloading malware onto their computers. I mean,
because nothing smells legitimate information site like malware, bro.
Right. Right.
But this is the only thing wrong with WikiLeaks, thankfully. You know, there's nothing. Assange is just a wonderful person.
I guess.
There's so many things, man. There's so many things. It just goes on and on. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
But they jump on his bandwagon for whatever reason. I mean, and if you're really that fazed by or just impressed by Assange, I mean, you can support that motherfucker without, you know, jumping on the bandwagon, man. The Unity4J just completely run those shills and just scumbags. And
well, you said it earlier, probably better than anybody's ever said it, and that's why are we standing up Unity4J fighting for Julian Assange when there's people that are actually in prison that need us to unite for them.
Exactly.
You know.
It's really a disgrace, man, and it's just and whether Assange is real or not, you know, considering the pretty massive amount of questionable things. What was that? No, I forgot what I wanted to say. You fucking with the amount of yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Whether you believe Assange is legit or not, you know, which is just pretty questionable with that list of things wrong with him. I mean, most people are so. This just proves how gullible people are, man. I mean, if people can get so distracted by just this dude, you know, while ignoring, you know, their near people, you know, real people. Oh, that just blows my mind, man. You got to start at the center. You got to start it yourself, and then your friends, and you know. But they think if I just shield hard enough for Assange, then the world will be a better place. You know, that's if that's your train of thought and your way of thinking, then you're very easy to manipulate for whatever it is. You know, that's too gullible for me, man.
Right. I accidentally muted Jalil, and now I can't figure out how the fuck to unmute him.
I'll mute him. No, I was just...
Yo!
Damn it.
Damn, my censorship is fucking crazy.
Sorry, I muted him. I'm sorry.
No, I did it actually on accident. Yeah.
No, let me unmute him. Unmute yourself, Jalil. I was just...
What's up, bro?
That's just
what's going on around here, bro? I'm getting muted left and right. It's like me getting my ass kicked by my homies. Right, yo.
You didn't even say anything, but I was like, oh, fuck it.
Yeah, it's like enjoying some tunes and shit, bro.
Just because I can.
He's listening to music. He's not dedicated to the cause.
Yeah, but the worst thing is, I mean, apart from it being way too far to just, you know, you can't have any fun because this, I mean, if you're conscious about it, then fuck it. But when you look at the people saying that stuff, I say, okay, so always just look, you know, hold up the mirror, you know, just so what the fuck are you doing, man? And that's what always is the problem. And people have all sorts of talks, but they don't do anything, man. It's really just a few people doing stuff, especially with this Anonymous, just a few people still hacking or researching or whatever it is, and the rest is just bandwagon and stuff. Yeah. Right. Same with Unity4J. I mean, so what is Assange? I mean, what has he done? I mean, especially lately. I mean, whatever, man.
What has Julian bin Laden done for me?
Right. Well, I know one thing though, that, like, you know, what I mean, look at Jeremy Hammond, you know, Chelsea Manning,
Marty G, and there's a few others, you know, and
does he have a statue of him? Does he have a statue in Germany though?
Well, no, because they don't, you know, the globalists don't support them. Fortunately, well, fortunately.
then they get interviews, and the people want their opinions, and they might say some real shit, and yeah, yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean,
but
honestly, what did they ever do for the people who are in prison for helping WikiLeaks and and doing that? I don't think I've ever seen anything where they took some of Julian's money and gave it to them to help, with a defense fund or something to that effect. Like.
How was that with the court case of Manning? Did WikiLeaks pay that, or didn't they pay that? I'm not sure about that.
I don't think they did, honestly.
I never looked into that. Yeah. But it's interesting to see that so Manning is out, because before Obama left, he was like, okay, you can go. And meanwhile, Assange is like, oh, he's still doing this shit.
Oh, fucked up, 7 years, right? 7 years, and then finally, right? I mean, it's just
And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't like. I don't even know the whole how it went down, because I hear contradicting stories about how Assange got kicked out of the embassy, because all this say he has a Ecuadorian nationality now, so they can't kick him out or whatever.
Right.
But just the thought of he's harassing them 7 years long in a fucking embassy, like get the fuck out now. We're sick and tired of you fucking.
Yeah,
bullshit.
right. Yeah, I mean, it's like you had this homeless friend that just wasn't your friend until he needed a place to live, and then showed up on your doorstep and demanded a place
on your
and protect him for all this time, and then finally, people don't understand why you want to kick him out. I mean, and let me shed some light here, guys. If he wasn't in distress, there would be no reason to donate any money. Let's just say, for sake of clarification or for sake of debate, maybe the issue is he's broke. Maybe they're not kicking him out, or maybe the Ecuadorians are just like, well, we see some profit within this guy. We'll just make it seem like we're going to kick you out, and then you could go and shill out to all these people who are going to donate you some money, and you just kick us 10%.
Yeah, maybe Spanos will donate to Julian Assange.
Well, I'm saying maybe Julian's just kicking him a couple bucks to make it seem like in the media that he's going through what he's going through.
Is he even there? Is he really there?
Well,
only
the media can see Julian bin Laden in his cave.
It was even more ridiculous, man. It's just oh man, just he was wanted by Interpol and all that stuff, and just doing. I mean, the list goes on. You had that meme right there, right? Just making making performances on The Simpsons, meeting in some studio and having dinners at the U.S. Embassy, and it's a bunch of stuff, man, that I don't think Phoenix or I don't, what I mean? It's so. If that's what I told Mark at the time as well, when you compare Assange to as well as Snowden, when you compare them to people like, again, Phoenix, Morty G, Jeremy Emmons, or there's a group. When you truly, honestly compare those examples, you can just see when it's a media show, and when they're when someone is holding a hand above their head, it's someone is protecting them and pushing it, man. And Assange is just so fucking so obvious that it just blows my mind. They waste their life with stuff like that, while Phoenix gets ignored, or even their mom. I mean, they're shilling for Assange, and meanwhile they don't take care of their mom or their friends, or the anons they chill with. It's just pathetic.
I mean, actually, Bubonic in the chat box, he actually made a very good point that I just read. He says that he's never once heard a leaker thank WikiLeaks for the support they gave them while incarcerated.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you like Manning doesn't even want to talk about WikiLeaks, it's like don't don't even go
Yeah.
there. It's like I agree, and it's like everybody, every person that got kicked out, or maybe I'm sure there are a few that aren't, but a lot of people that got kicked out, they don't have a lot of nice things to say. They have. It's not just the smear campaign because they're butthurt. They have, real arguments, and it's not just some bullshit slander or CIA or
Yeah.
whatever. It's yeah. So but yeah, it's again this problem. People, I mean, the information is out there, man, and it's again the same thing with this truth community or all that stuff. It's the information is out there. It's what people do with it, and yeah, they don't. They're not freedom fighters, They don't want to get rid of the system or the government. They want a better government, It's yeah, for the majority at least. And for that's the worst thing, For me, it's like, I mean, if everybody could just leave each other alone instead of I want this world and I want that world, and just create your own worlds, and just collaborate with people. But it's not that people don't create anything. Instead, they just regurgitate memes and stuff like that, and So I just chill with people that do stuff. So like you and Bubonic as well. He doesn't even do the whole exposing stuff anymore. He's done it enough as well. But he's still doing his own thing. Just milking titties,
Yeah.
milking cookies, or. But it's just and that's what I personally want and support, and people doing their own thing and fucking the system that way, and the whole bandwagons is. Fuck it, man. Not for me, man. I'll be back in 5 minutes or something.
All right.
It's like this, bro. And that's why a lot of these quote unquote woke truth movement is miserable as fuck. It was like, it's not even the fact that I may post some memes here and there, but but right now, as far as my content, the majority of it is just going to be video games, because I have a lot more knowledge in that area. It's like I'm just going to be posting video game shit from that point forward. It's like, oh well, might not get any truth memes anymore, because I felt, hey, it was getting boring. That and from outside pressure. And now from this year, I decided to do it on my own because spreading truth memes is getting boring. And last year was from outside pressure from you know who.
Right.
So from outside pressure because no. This is my vocabulary. Get the fuck out of here. It's everybody's vocabulary. But anyway, on a much broader perspective, it's like, I already have a platform, but it's called Sick Touch, and it's in progress. I'm trying to get this shit off the ground. It's mostly a solo platform where I can write about Sam Golden crew and just post video games and all that shit. You know what I mean? And if anything, it's just gonna be if there's anything relating to Illuminati, it's just gonna be websites and information and articles. It's not gonna be stale memes anymore. It's probably because that shit is stale. Stale memes is stale, nigga. The thing that regards to truth memes is pretty much gonna be same old, like Hakesec memes, Op Anarchy. You know what I mean? I'm trying to regroup that. Not to mention with Save the Children of Syria. Much love to them people. Those are my peoples. And a lot of people in the gaming community, much love to them. I might get back into the gaming arena. I've been trying. I wanted to get back into the gaming arena, but all the opportunities I tried to get back in it's just the roles just it just never really popped up. Because not to mention, I wanted to get back into 2016, but I was too busy. I was too busy being a faggot in 2016. So,
well, these things run what, 2 hours?
What?
Maximum 2 hours, right? Or is it 4? I'm trying to remember.
4 or 5.
Oh,
We've been
okay.
for this long.
Yeah, it's almost 2 hours.
2 hours, man. I was just enjoying this shit, bro. Don't end it now. Do not end this shit now. Do not.
Nah,
I can talk and watch this goddamn football game all day. I love gridiron football, my nigga, because at least you can just see the other side of it, of the shit.
Right.
Oh, that's because it's bread and circuses. With their bread and circuses, they will never revolve. What the fuck are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? We're talking about bread and circuses. Hey, maybe bread and circuses, but at least it's for their enjoyment. Plus, you can analyze the bread and circuses.
Right.
What about your dialectics? That's your bread and circuses. I don't see you revolting. The trust the plan. The Russia hacked the election. That's your bread and circus. The news media system. That's your bread and circus. Sports would be a whole lot better if it wasn't for media control or stadium control. Sports changed,
I just see the thing with sports though is the only problem I got with sports is, back in the day when there was a civil unrest amongst the people in Rome, what did they build to distract the people?
They built the stadium.
The Colosseum.
They built the Colosseum.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, and that's
I can understand that.
Today, in a sense, you do you. That's cool.
I can understand that, but then again, at least it was fun to enjoy. At least it's a fun distraction. It's just gotta weigh in. You know what I mean? At least it's a fun distraction. Video games, at least, sure, it may not even be a distraction or a time waster. Some video games might be used to change the planet. Look at Nintendo. Satoru Iwata, I don't remember his name. He died in 2015, but he came up with some of the best video games in existence, like Super Mario, Yuji Naka, with Sonic, as you may know. That changed the game. That changed the whole goddamn game. Build your own. That's the thing I like about video game developers. They built their own shit. You know what I mean? They built their own shit. Something that comes from the ground up. However, they kind of got cocky and turned it into a brand. They kind of got cocky and turned it into some sort of a brand, but they still make quality video games. It's just that it's also the fan bases of those video games. Where Mario and all the other people, they may have some sort of problems with it. They may even the Mario fan base or Nintendo fan base may be critical of their franchises, and as well as Nintendo, but at least half of them stuck through. And I can also understand why DTE thinks Sonic is gay. Because Sonic has also some great games, but his fan base is fickle. They will turn on a dime. We don't even know we are hypercritical. We don't even know what we want. Us as a fan, I'm part of the Sonic fan base, and we don't even know what we want. Really, some we are hypercritical. We are hypercritical. Hypercritical. We suffered, man. We've been without a good game since 2005, which I understand. And Sonic 2006 wasn't really their cup. It was my cup of tea, but let's look at the fact. The game controlled like shit. I played through it, but it's a matter of me gritting and bearing and squeezing the enjoyment out of it. That's all I do with bad games, bro. I don't complain about it on YouTube. That's why I watch these YouTube reviews, video game reviews back in the day. They're funny as hell. They're funny as hell to sit back and watch them complain. Don't take away my entertainment, nigga. When you're saying, hey, when you're talking about what's going on, that's cool. I can understand what's going on in the world, but people, niggas is fucking with my entertainment. You know what I mean?
The problem mostly with that stuff is when you start hiding behind, or just, how do I say it, man? Just fleeing into that stuff, you know, when you're just ignore everything and play your games, you know, just as long as you have some fun, then it's okay, you know, but it doesn't work that way, of course, because it's
I know.
It's still not addressing the problem. So when it's really just, you know, okay, so this is my free time now, I don't know, a few hours or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I may play video games a lot. I may want to play video games a lot, but I don't want to ignore what's going on. I don't ignore it. Even as a gamer, I still have that. I still have a mission. I still talk about this shit. I still address it. You know what I mean, DTE?
Yeah, man, for sure.
That's why I wanted to join, you know, Nintendo Science, because we have gamers that actually address what's really going on. They may have different opinions and views on it, but hey, sadly that had to fall apart. Oh well. No harm, no foul. At least I can create my own. And that's what I was on the process of doing. And to be honest, I think next year will be my year. Yo, owner, DTE, you there, bro?
Still here. I just somebody wanted to join or whatever, so I was just kind of addressing that, trying to see if I can't get them on.
Let him join, bro. You trying to get a link? Give him the link. Who want to join?
Hacker, you wanted to join?
Let her in.
I'll be right back.
She's gonna pour him bomb us, man.
Yeah, you think so?
No.
Nah, not at all.
Let her in.
I'll fucking porn bomb myself before that happens.
Nothing wrong with a porn bomb, man.
Yeah, you guys want to watch some porn real quick? No, it's like
let the cutie in. She wants to talk. Hey. 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 This is going to be a great Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think she's around right now. Anyway.
Yeah. All good.
So yeah, man. Good. I'm sorry, man. I'm eating.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was good to finally speak to you, man.
It's like I still like it.
We've been doing a lot of stuff in all this time. I never got to speak to you.
Right, yeah.
Got to speak to you, man.
Bro.
We're on the same page with most stuff, man. I mean, I can disagree with people, man, but it's more like a mentality thing, you know, like yeah, man. And I don't know. It's about how far are people willing to go, I guess, you know.
Right.
People are just half-assing a lot of stuff. Not even half-assing, like quarter-assing, whatever. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, you know me. You know I don't fucking half-ass. That's for sure.
No.
I say I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna fucking go and do that shit. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man. And it's pretty disturbing how rare that is these days, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it is what it is, man. I just keep doing my thing, and yeah, I'm just glad I got to know you as well in that short time in Twitter because yeah, I'm not stuck around there for long, man.
Right.
Short but wild period. Let's put it that way.
And now for a feature presentation.
Brought to you in part by Julian bin Laden.
Hiding in his cave.
The Rothschild puppet pays $2,100 fine for hacking government websites. Woo! And that's not a lot of money considering.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world of no quarter.
About what? Why was it? It was in Australia, right?
It was the Pentagon. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was. The sentence was in Australia.
Rothschild law firm.
Oh right, yeah.
But he was by the Rothschild law firm.
It's like $2,100.
The Economist way back in 2008.
So we can assume it's just. I'm sorry, we can assume. So for me, there is a very big possibility that deals were made there. You know, I mean, this is not a normal sentence. I mean, when you look at the stuff he did, even then, right? I forgot a good comparison, but there are, you know, in those times, because it was in the 90s, I think, there were other hackers who got convicted for, you know, just a lot more than a $2,100 fine. You know, they're still locked up. You know.
Yeah, you know.
But anyway, I don't know the names, you know, but Mark named a few examples. Then, but anyway, it's dodgy as fuck, man. And there's so many reasons or things that I I don't want to spend any time in it, like support that stuff. While we have people who need our help a lot more that we just know, you know, and who did real shit, and you know, and whatever, just so fucking dumb.
Right. Well, I mean, for people who want a place to go somewhere where they can be safe, you know, from, you know, obvious government peekaboos and your fucking, you know, large company harvesting info type deal. You know, the website is unknownonline.me. It's an image board similar to 4chan, just 9,000 times better. You can go there. You won't be censored. It's over 9,000 times better. That's for sure. But no censorship at all there. There's also a PGP end-to-end encrypted chat that goes along with that at chat.unknownonline.me. It's browser-based. You could download a client as well. All the information's up on the site. All the stuff that I'm showing on a screen share right now pertaining Julian bin Laden is also available on the site as well under the WikiLeaks tab, which I should probably separate the two, right? I should probably separate the WikiLeaks and the Julian stuff.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm sure there are some, or at least were some good people for WikiLeaks. You know?
Yeah, you know, so if you...
I have a lot more, yeah, and WikiLeaks have done some stuff, you know, some dodgy stuff that makes me like, you know, but compare it to Assange's list, and that's just, yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to cut this short here and get going. I got some stuff to do or whatever. So
2 hours is fine, man. It was fun, man.
Yeah, I agree. Hell yeah. Nice having you guys. And, you know, hopefully next week, I want to do this every week just for clarification. So on a
Saturday or Sunday, like, what's your
today works great, honestly.
Okay, cool, man. Cheers.
So if we could do this again, that'd be great.
Sounds good, man. Thanks
for same time next week. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna play a little outro and then yeah. Figure out how to do it.
And just screen share again and play the clip. Yeah.
You guys aren't gonna like it, but I'm play it anyway. Forget I gotta do all this with the audio.
We find ourselves still associated in the Greetings world. We are unknown. It is with great concern that we find ourselves still associated in the eyes of the public with Julian Assange and what has become WikiLeaks. We do not support nor do we endorse Julian Assange, Vladimir Putin, or Donald Trump. We reject fascism and all who promote it. WikiLeaks under Julian Assange is a front for several corrupt state actors like Russia and the Assad regime in Syria, which the majority of Anonymous have always opposed. Some people didn't seem to notice that Assange's WikiLeaks party visited Assad in 2012. We did. WikiLeaks under Julian Assange is celebrated by all we oppose. In 2010, WikiLeaks was helped by a lot of very good people who all left or were arrested long ago. An agenda in complete opposition to their and our beliefs. He and an army of bots promote Russia, Assad, WikiLeaks and Trump in the name of Anonymous and write off a humanitarian reputation that was not created by Assange or anyone currently with the organization. We have tried to bring the public as much information as possible during the recent US election and every election. We tried to expose Trump's very real links to child trafficking and lobbyist circles and had our work drowned out by an asinine story about spirit cooking pushed by Assange onto our hashtags. He used the megaphone we all built to promote a man who will normalize fascism and hate across the globe. He suppressed information in the Syria files about $2 billion in payments from Russia to Syria. He vilified Panama Papers for being biased against Russia, after stealing credit for their work. He jeered at Parisians under attack as he is now jeering at women and minorities in the US fearing for their safety. Julian Assange and his current band of sycophants and handlers have turned WikiLeaks into a symbol of fascism and disillusionment to those who worked hard and risked their very lives to create and protect it. They work to discredit and silence all who oppose Julian Assange but supported the 2010 WikiLeaks. They scream asylum for Assange and Snowden who are not in prison but ignore refugees and our anonymous comrades and other brave fighters actually in prison. Jeremy Hammond and Chelsea Manning are frequently in solitary confinement, torture, and have their human rights taken from them constantly. They and others gave WikiLeaks their lives with the idea that it would help reveal the truth and spark steps towards justice. Julian Assange has taken every opportunity to destroy their work, smear their credibility, and rewrite a history where those who did the work do not exist. Only a cult hero named Julian Assange does. In 2011, journalist for WikiLeaks, Israel Shamir, met with Vladimir Makai, the head of the presidential administration in Belarus. It was reported that Israel Shamir was representing WikiLeaks in Russia and Belarus. The Russian press agency Interfax claimed that Shamir met with Vladimir Makai, the head of administration for President Lukashenko of Belarus on December 19, 2011. In an interview, Shamir confirmed the existence of a WikiLeaks Belarusian dossier. 2 days later in a press conference, President Lukashenko said this: "We're simply going to publish certain documents. We'll see how those who are published on the Belarusian WikiLeaks site, the supporters of the opposition, and those who are working behind the scenes, react to this." Lukashenko is reported to be setting up a state-sponsored WikiLeaks site. At the moment, the president's state administrative apparatus, including the KGB, are attempting to bring prosecutions against members of the opposition, including presidential candidates and the staff of independent media source Charter 97. We have reports that Shamir has used his access to the WikiLeaks U.S. diplomatic cables to aid the prosecution of civil society activists within Belarus. Is this free speech? Aiding in the prosecution of civil society activists? As Assange or WikiLeaks stated in public, they do not support these actions? No. With that being said, we reject tyrant coups, including the one Julian Assange has attempted to conduct over WikiLeaks and Unknown. We reject Julian Assange and everything he stands for. We strongly discourage anyone from leaking to him, listening to him, or giving him money. Free Jeremy Hammond. Free James Robinson. We are the ones government suppressed. We are the ones tyrants have tried silence. We are what remains free within you. We are the ones who always fight back. We are Unknown.